Red-haired beast cultivator said again. Okay, Kong Yi, I'll make the spirit beast leave Broken Leaf City now and this beast's tide will end now. Now will you believe me? Red-haired beast cultivator said again. Okay, Kong Yi, I'll make the spirit beast leave Broken Leaf City now and this beast's tide will end now. Now will you believe me? Kong Yi nodded. Okay, let your spirit beast retreat first. The red-haired beast cultivator immediately sent a messenger flying sword. After that, he looked at Kong Yi. Kong Yi, I've sent the messenger flying sword now, can I go? The beast cultivator was helpless. It wasn't that he couldn't go, but he didn't dare to make things troublesome with Kong Yi. Kong Yi's power was on par with his. If he didn't follow the agreement, Kong Yi could just attack the spirit beasts and beast cultivators attacking Broken Leaf City. Kong Yi shook his head. It's good that the spirit beasts can leave Broken Leaf City, but according to the agreement you can't go into North Far State. Kong Yi, you're cheating me? The red-haired beast cultivator's power rose drastically and a golden sword appeared in his hand. Kong Yi didn't say anything but a cauldron appeared above his head. Looking at this, the red-haired beast cultivator suppressed his anger and said, Kong Yi, you've been a very honest person, why are you going back on your words today? Kong Yi replied, I said you could retreat your beast cultivators, but I didn't agree to let you go North Far State. The beast cultivator seemed to know that even if they fought he won't be able to beat Kong Yi, and even if he could it wouldn't be fast, so he stopped. A few hours later, countless spirit beasts left Broken Leaf City and went back into the Heartless Sea. Instead, that red-haired beast cultivator went back into THS Heartless Sea as well. Seeing this, Kong Yi frowned and after a long while, he disappeared. 15 minutes later, a disaster transformation state tertiary stage beast cultivator appeared before the red-haired beast cultivator. He looked at the disaster transformation state beast cultivator and said, Peihai City has encountered an issue, I need to go over immediately. Don't fight here, wait till I come back. Yes. The disaster transformation state tertiary stage replied respectfully. The red-haired beast cultivator nodded and took out an instant transmission rune, looking at it for a long while before sighing and activating the rune. This rune had no space ripples so Kong Yi wouldn't be able to know, but it was just too precious. Even he only had one, it was practically a second life. If he used other space teleportation runes, Kong Yi would immediately know. Outside Peihai City, Yemo was slaughtering large amounts of spirit beasts. They kept wanting to break out of Yemo's trap formation, but the area of the lightning sword was getting larger and larger. There were also more injuries as well. If Yemo continued this, it would only be half a day before he would slaughter these spirit beasts clean. At this moment, there was a sharp howl and Yemo opened his eyes. He stopped his lightning sword rain as that sharp howl woke him up. He had a new understanding of state, but before he could organize his thoughts, a faint red sword light hacked at Yemo's trap formation. The trap formation that countless spirit beasts couldn't break free from was hacked open. With this, countless spirit beasts rushed out, but that howl sounded again. All the spirit beasts heard this and calmed down. They left Yemo's trap formation in an orderly fashion. Although Yemo slaughtered nearly a third of the spirit beasts himself, there were still countless spirit beasts exiting. Yemo was shook. He knew this howl was made by a truth realization state cultivator. Otherwise, his sword light wouldn't come before himself. As soon as Yemo had this thought, the red-haired cultivator appeared before Yemo. Yemo's eyes jumped rapidly. It was a truth realization state level 2 beast cultivator. Husband! Yemo! Two crisp voices sounded. Yemo immediately knew they belonged to Yang Zhu and Jin Wen. His heart rested easy. At least they were fine. But Yemo didn't turn back. He was very calm facing this truth realization state cultivator. He knew if he was killed by this truth realization state beast cultivator, Peihai City would turn to dust. What he didn't understand was why Peihai City was trapped for a few years when there was a truth realization state beast cultivator. It was very easy for a truth realization state beast cultivator to annihilate Peihai City. If I came later, were you going to kill them all? The red-haired cultivator looked at the ground covered in spirit beast bodies and the burning bloody smell in the air. His tone was extremely furious. Ling and Tang Mengrao as well as Meng Hanan also stood behind Emo. They looked vigilantly at this truth realization state level 2 beast cultivator. There was nothing they could do against a truth realization state beast cultivator. They were also confused why this beast cultivator didn't come earlier. Emo released Zisu and Octagonal Cauldron, saying coldly, "What's your logic? The spirit beasts were attacking Peihai City, can the people not retaliate? Do you think your spirit beasts have more royal blood and can dictate the life and death of other cultivators?" The beast cultivator sneered. "Wanbei, you're a mere cauldron-filling state and you dare to be cocky in front of me. Do you believe I can kill you and destroy Peihai City before that old guy comes?" Emo sneered and replied, "If you want to fight, then hurry up." Then, he activated his cultivation essence and ripples of purple formed. "You're bold, you can die then." The truth realization state beast cultivator was furious and just grabbed at Emo. This wasn't Emo's first time he fought a truth realization state, but Miao Huijing was heavily injured, so she was a far cry compared to this truth realization state primary stage. Emo saw the cultivation essence giant hand and an extreme sense of dissatisfaction rose up. This guy wanted to crush him to death with his hand just because he had stronger power. The truth realization state from Infinity Sect did the same in the Black Eye Sect. In his fury, Emo just hacked out with Zisu. Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain Strike. Rumble the purple ray hacked on the cultivation essence giant hand and made 2 heavy thuds. Cultivation essence splashed out, space itself made cracking sounds as though collapsing under the force of the clash. Meanwhile, Emo was sent flying kilometers away by this, he spat blood in midair. Emo's heart sunk. Although he was cauldron-filling state tertiary stage, he was instantly defeated by the truth realization state. He knew from that clash that even if he used all his means, he wouldn't be able to take on this beast cultivator. Ling and Tang Mengrao's face changed. They retreated. Even they couldn't deal with this space collapse. Ling was worried the most. He couldn't even take on truth realization state cultivator strike before. How could Emo do it? The truth realization state beast cultivator saw that Emo hacked his cultivation essence giant hand apart, and just paid the price of spitting blood and was shocked. But immediately, the truth realization state beast cultivator sneered and raised his hand. A faint red appeared in his hand that turned into 2 sharp rays hacking towards Emo. As soon as it was hacked out, it seemed to have locked everything around Emo. Yet in the wake of such a powerful attack, Emo didn't retreat and went in instead, hacking out with Zisu. Seeing this, everyone's face changed. Emo hacked in the completely wrong direction. "You have some tricks, but this ends now." But as soon as he said that, his face changed and sneered in midair. "Don't let me see you again." Then he just left. Everyone didn't understand why this beast cultivator suddenly left when he had the complete upper hand. But everyone breathed easy. Seeing this, Emo also sneered, thinking I should be the one to say that. Suddenly, he felt a wave in the air. He looked over immediately and heard a voice. "Emo, you're very great. In a few years' time, you've come this far. The 100-year deal can be shortened to half." Hearing this voice, Emo was shook. He knew who this person was. It was Kong Yi. Kong Yi could scare off that beast cultivator. Clearly he was a truth realization state cultivator too. Emo never expected the low-profile Kong Yi was the real #1 power in North Far State. He thought Kong Yi wasn't as strong as Lin Zhongtian before, but now it seems he was greatly mistaken. He bowed in midair and didn't say anything. He had a deal with Kong Yi, but now he was cauldron-filling state tertiary stage and Kong Yi just shortened the time to half. One could see how much hope Kong Yi had for him when he made the deal. Emo thought of the moment when he first saw old man Kong Yi in Broken Leaf City. His care and support for him made Emo feel very warm at heart. Probably no one in North Far State expected Kong Yi was truth realization state. Kong Yi didn't appear, clearly not wanting others to know his identity. Emo also realized why the truth realization state beast cultivator didn't attack himself. There was also a truth realization state cultivator guarding North Far State. The spirit beasts all left, and the entire Peihai city rejoiced. Yiling and them couldn't resist and ran towards Emo. They thought they would be able to see Emo in 3 years, but multiple times that duration had gone by. Yiling ran into Emo's arms. Song Yangzhu and Su Jingwen didn't talk, but the longing and softness in their eyes nearly melted Emo's. Su Jingwen grabbed Emo's hand. She had been cultivating nonstop just so she could be with Emo, and so she could go back and visit her mother. If that couldn't be realized, what was the point of cultivating to the peak for her? If it wasn't for the company of Yiling and Song Yangzhu, they would have collapsed. She really couldn't get used to this endless cultivation. She didn't like how lives were worthless in the cultivation realm. Now that she saw Emo again, she had 1,000 things to say, but where should she begin? Emo grabbed her hand. Jingwen, you're already nascent soul state middle stage. Su Jingwen interrupted and said firmly. Emo, let's be together no matter where you go, I will follow. I can't bear this waiting anymore. I don't care about cultivation level, I just want to be with you. I just want to visit Ninghai. I'm scared here, I. She was brave at the start of the sentence but couldn't finish it. She who never killed had to spirit beasts every day. She remembered the first time she killed a spirit beast, she kept vomiting nonstop. She was really tired of this life. Okay, we'll go back and be together forever. Emo pulled Su Jingwen and then pulled Song Yangzhu. Yangzhu, I came back to North Far State this time to take you guys with me. Don't worry, I will find Emo and we'll go to South Peace State together. Qingxue, Susu and Beiwei are all there. Song Yangzhu could control her emotions a little more. Due to this family reunion, everyone moved to the side. Seeing the 3 girls calm down, Emo brought them to Jiling and them, introducing them. Jiling smiled. I already know, when I came to Peihai City, they were all here but you. Meng Hanan smiled. Martial brother Ye's 2 wives are both extreme rare beauties in the world. His sister is also very beautiful. Sister Tang, can your disciple Qianai be more pretty than Jingwen? It was Tang Mengrao's first time seeing Su Jingwen, and she was also shocked at her beauty. Her beauty was innate and far from the gloating and arrogant beauty of Qiandai. But she still felt her disciple was prettier than Su Jingwen. Before they went into the city, Qi Ziyu rushed up and saluted with his fists. Sect leader Yi, luckily we have you, otherwise this city wouldn't last long. It's the city's honor that Mo you can stay here. Then he saluted to Tang Mengrao, and Jiling smiled and waved. He was disaster transformation state but never showed an attitude. Many cultivators who came with Jiling before were contemptuous to talk to Qi Ziyu. Emo waved his hand. City Lord Qi, you're too polite. Let's go in first. The cultivators started repairing the city and clearing the battlefield. Other than a few spirit beasts, most of the spirit beasts didn't even have a beast core left. Emo suddenly thought cultivator who guarded Peihai City for 5 years. He was very grateful to this cultivator. City Lord Qi, I heard a disaster transformation state Qianbei defended Peihai City for 5 years. Where is that Qianbei? Qi Ziyu also remembered and asked the cultivator on the side. Yeah, where is Yu Qianbei? Qi Ziyu also remembered and asked the cultivator on the side. Yeah, where is Yu Qianbei? The cultivators looked at each other. Clearly no one knew where Yu Qianbei went. Emo scanned his spirit sense out. He had seen that disaster transformation state cultivator when he first arrived, but he couldn't see him now. However, he saw that formation repairing cauldron filling state cultivator come over. Emo quickly went over and greeted him. Emo greets you, friend. If it wasn't for your help, the city would be done for. The cauldron filling state laughed. Brother Yi, you're too polite. I've long heard of sect leader Ye's great name. The prodigy who created the spirit-weaving pill. I didn't think you'd be such a prodigy in cultivation too. When you left Peihai City, I heard Ziyu say you were golden core state power, but now you're stronger than me. I was shocked when I saw you fight with that truth realization state beast cultivator. If it was me, I wouldn't even last one move before dying. Plus, Brother Ye's formation skills are much higher than mine. From the trap formation you set outside the city, I know your formation skills aren't something I can compare with. Brother Yi, you're indeed the greatest prodigy I've seen. Shiziyu explained. Sect leader Yi, Li Feng is the elder of formation forgery sect. If it wasn't for him and that the mysterious Yuqian Bei, Peihai City would have long fallen. Yemo quickly said in gratitude. Yemo's family is all in Peihai City and brotherly help Peihai City, which is the same as helping me. If brotherly needs any help, Yemo will do all he can. Okay, let's go to the city lord estate and have a good talk first. But Yudakian Qian Bei doesn't like too many people, so he already left the city when the spirit beasts retreated. Otherwise, it would be great knowing someone like Brother Yi, elderly said. Yemo immediately nodded in agreement. He told Yiling and them to go back to MOU first, and that he would be back in a bit. In the north far states all herb mountain ranges. In the innermost part of the place was a cultivation home in a valley. A tall man sighed and got up. He didn't leave the cultivation home but instead went to another room. There was a very beautiful young girl here. The girl saw the tall man come in and sneered, shutting her eyes. Qiandai, why did you do this? The tall man asked and sighed. The pretty girl still kept her eyes shut. The tall man didn't get an answer for a long while and shook his head and turned to leave. Suddenly, the girl opened her eyes and said coldly, Lin Zhongtian, put away that savior face. Don't make it seem like you're the savior of North Far State. You're just a shameless hypocrite. Lin Zhongtian turned back and said slowly, Qiandai, I never said I was a savior. I'm just doing what I should be doing. As one of the 3 strongest people in North Far State, I have the responsibility to protect it. Bullshit. Ao Kaiandi got up suddenly and pointed at Lin Zhongtian, cursing. Lin Zhongtian, don't make yourself sound so great. Who raped a young girl? Who made that girl pregnant? Who cast aside that pregnant girl? Do you know how hard it is for an unmarried girl to bring up a child? Did you know how hard it was for the mother when the child was about to die but there was nothing she could do? Lin Zhongtian, how do you have the face to talk about responsibility and protection? Ao Qiandai was so agitated that her body was shaking. Lin Zhongtian, in order to find you, I cultivated like crazy. But when I was struggling for cultivation resources, where were you? When I was hunted by enemies, where were you? If my essence spirit didn't find that pregnant woman within 45 minutes and stayed on her, managing to survive, there would be no Li Qiannai in this world. I would just be a dead soul, an extra person. Lin Zhongtian's face looked more and more guilty. His body even became wobbly. He said dejectedly, Qiannai, the person I owe the most to in my life is you. I was young at the time and I didn't understand a lot of things. I thought pursuing the immortal Dao meant to sever your mortal ties. Later, I realized I was wrong and I went to find you, but you had already left your home. I know I owe you. Lin Zhongtian continued. But Qiannai, no matter how much you hate me, you can't start the beast tide and set up us 3 to be injured. You can't let the Aoqing Merchant Association deal with spirit beasts, feeding cultivator golden core and essence blood to them. The pretty girl who calmed down a little heard this and exploded again. Lin Zhongtian, you think I don't know what you're thinking? You like that Tang Mangrao? Did I make you lose face in front of her when I said you fucked me? If you have the balls, say you didn't fuck me. Say it. Lin Zhongtian's face burst red, but he still replied, Qiandai, don't say that. Tang Mangrao is your master after all. How can you treat her like that? She deserves to be my master? Ao Qiandai looked at Lin Zhongtian coldly. I set up you 3 to fight each other? If you weren't jealous of Shan Di and Tang Mangrao's relationship, would you fight with your full power when they joined up against you? And that Shan Di, you think he can't tell that I'm still a virgin? How many women has he been with? It's possible Tang Mangrao can't tell, but you think he can't. Bullshit. Lin Zhongtian frowned. He was indeed jealous of Shan Di, but just a little. He didn't think of fighting against Shan Di with his life, but Shan Di was fighting with his life. If he went a little easy, he would die. So, he had to fight with his full life. Ao Qiandai continued. I think you're not sad because Shan Di attacked you with full power, but that Tang Mangrao blocked your killing blow for Shan Di. That's your greatest disappointment. Ao Qiandai sneered and threw a red rune over. She knew that despite Lin Zhongtian's injury and destruction of his Dan Tian, his disaster transformation state peak stage power was much stronger than her cauldron filling state tertiary stage power. She need to be careful. Ao Qiandai sneered and threw a red rune over. She knew that despite Lin Zhongtian's injury and destruction of his Dan Tian, his disaster transformation state peak stage power was much stronger than her cauldron filling state tertiary stage power. She need to be careful. The red rune exploded around Lin Zhongtian, and most of the explosion waves struck the stone wall. Lin Zhongshan's shield just blocked a small part of the explosion, and he spat mouthfuls of blood again. Lin Zhongtian sighed. He knew he probably wouldn't make it today. He wanted to self-destruct his essence spirit while he could, but he felt the earth below him shake as though the entire mountain range was shaking. Ao Qiandai scanned with spirit sense, but she found she couldn't scan out her spirit sense at all. Her face changed and she immediately released a pink soul-catching bell, attacking at Lin Zhongtian. Lin Zhongtian would rather die than let this woman capture him. So, when she attacked with the ball, he also released the shield to protect him. He needed time to self-destruct. Although his Dan Tian was destroyed, he had some self-defense for a short while. With a clank, Lin Zhongtian's spirit sense went heavy as though something was breaking out of his body. He quickly burned some essence blood. Rumble, the sound outside was getting louder. Ao Qiandai looked at Lin Zhongtian and didn't attack. Instead, she released a dark gray rune. The rune formed a rippled-like ring around her. Then Ao Qiandai disappeared. Lin Zhongtian could tell it was a space transmission rune. Ao Qiandai really had a lot of good stuff. Lin Zhongtian knew he couldn't get away. Even if he had such high-level rune, he wouldn't be able to use it since his Dan Tian was shattered. He looked at the direction she disappeared and sighed. He knew that Ao Qiandai must have been possessed. The soul possessing her must be a cruel person, probably a beast cultivator. But with her power and calculations, there was no way she would be interested in golden core state trading. Her goal must be something else. Suddenly, Lin Zhongtian felt the ground below him go empty and the place he was at cracked open. Lin Zhongtian shook his head and didn't resist. For a cultivator with a shattered Dan Tian, there was no point in living. At this moment in the City Lord estate, there was Yemo, Jiling, Tang Mengrao, Ming Xian, for cauldron-filling state cultivators of Peihai City, City Lord Chiziyu, and elderly. Yemo also simply talked about the South Peace State, but he was asking more about the Peihai City. Chiziyu told him that the Ao Qing Merchant Association disappeared before the beast tide came. The disaster transformation state cultivator who came was called Eudakian. Most of the time, Eudakian was protecting elderly and repairing the formations. Otherwise, even with Eudakian, the city would have long fallen. Yemo got up gratefully and saluted with his fists. Brotherly, I won't say much besides thanking you. Without you, the Peihai City would have fallen a few years ago. I'll be staying here for a while, then going back to South Peace State. When I leave, I want to visit you at Formation Forgery Sect. Li Tianyi heard this and quickly said, I will gladly welcome you. Jiling Qianbei came to set up a level 9 formation for the city. I also want to study it. Perhaps when you leave, I will still be at Peihai City. Another messenger flying sword landed on his hand. He opened it and exclaimed, Broken Leaf City's beast tide also retreated. Great, there probably won't be another one in 100 years. Everyone was very happy, but Tang Mengrao got up and said, Yemo, thanks for saving my life this time. I know you have a bad opinion of me. No matter, when I see Brother Lin Zhongtian, I will apologize to him. The beast tide is gone and I will return to my sect. Ming Xian also got up and bade farewell. She said she would come back and thank Yemo after she settled the matters of her sect. Yemo also wanted to go back to MOU and got up and said goodbye. However, Jiling stayed at the City Lord estate to discuss setting up the formation for the city. When Yemo got back to MOU, Song Yangzhu and them were already impatient. Yemo saw Li Yuqian, Li Jingwen, Jin Shaoshan, Suyu, Xingyizhong were all here and finally breathed easy. Li Yuqian was nascent soul state tertiary stage and Song Yangzhu and Yiling were golden core state peak stage. Su Jingwen was the fastest, she was nascent soul state middle stage. The people gathered all talking about their own situation. Yemo also knew that after he left, the black and white pill kings came to Pei Hai City but were sent off by Su Jianhu. He didn't really know how they knew about his heaven flame, but he wasn't afraid of two mere hollow spirit state cultivators. Yemo simply introduced the situation at South Peace State and said, I came back to bring you guys to South Peace State, but we have a MOU here too. If anyone wants to stay, I will hand MOU over to him to manage. If no one wants to stay, then we'll all go to MOU City in South Peace State together. Everyone fell silent, clearly no one wanted to stay. Yemo saw this and knew everyone wanted to go South Peace State. However, Li Jinwen got up and said, Sect leader, I'm willing to stay here. When MOU grows, we must have our ground in the North Far State. If it wasn't for sect leader, I would be stuck in Golden Core State my entire life. Now I'm nascent soul state, I'm very satisfied. Yemo knew he was very loyal and felt safe leaving MOU with him. With this, Su Yu also stood up. Xingyizhong and I will also stay. I really like this place. There are a lot of cultivation resources for us too. Yemo could tell the two had some feelings for each other and agreed. Okay, then you two stay and help Li Jinwen. Don't worry too much. I will set up a teleportation formation at MOU to South Peace State in the future. My formation skills aren't high enough yet, but once I will set up this teleportation formation. Then, everyone can come and go easily. Yemo felt the interstate teleportation formation took so many cultivation resources with each use, not just because of the distance but also because there was no high-level formation master. Otherwise, even traveling from Luoyu to Earth wouldn't cost many resources. Yemo had 3 birth chant and he believed he could set this up one day. Hearing this, more people were willing to stay. Yu Qiyan was the closet to Li Jinwen and was a level 6 spirit pill master now. He also chose to stay and so did Jin Shaoshan after some thought. In the next few days, Yemo stayed with Song Yangzhu and Su Jinwen. In the streets of Pei Hai City, Song Yangzhu and Su Jinwen were walking with Yemo slowly. After he came back, Song Yangzhu seemed very happy, but there was still a sliver of worry in her happiness. Yemo knew she was worried about Yemo. There was no news of Yemo ever since she came to North Far State. Don't worry, we'll go back first. I will find Yemo no matter what. Yemo said. After Pei Hai City settles, we'll go look for Yemo. No matter how big North Far State is, it's not as big as South Peace State. I have a half-immortal artifact. It won't take much time to go around North Far State a few times. Song Yangzhu nodded and suddenly said, Let Jinwen stay with you tonight. Huh? Su Jinwen heard this and immediately blushed. These few days Su Jinwen was with Yemo, she regained her vitality that she had when she was in Ninghai. The only thing she was embarrassed to talk about was being real husband and wife with Yemo. But no matter how much she wanted it, she couldn't talk about it straight to Yemo, especially when Song Yangzhu was on the side. These few days Su Jinwen was with Yemo, she regained her vitality that she had when she was in Ninghai. The only thing she was embarrassed to talk about was being real husband and wife with Yemo. But no matter how much she wanted it, she couldn't talk about it straight to Yemo, especially when Song Yangzhu was on the side. But when Song Yangzhu really said it in front of her, she couldn't handle it. Yemo saw Su Jinwen's embarrassment and smiled, grabbing her hand. Yangzhu, you and Jinwen are the same to me as Susu and Qinxue. When we go back to MOU City, we will have another wedding just like the one in Luoyu City. Song Yangzhu's eyes showed surprise and joy. She was Yemo's first woman, but when Yemo got married, she could only hide and cry with Yemo. That sorrow was incomprehensible. Today, Yemo finally understood her and wanted to do a make-up wedding for her. This made her want to cry. She had always thought she was only Yemo's wife because of Yemo. Without Yemo, she would never be Yemo's wife. As a woman from Earth, She didn't yearn for cultivation but only to stay with her husband forever. Husband! Song Yangju couldn't hold her excitement and cuddled into Yimo's arms. Go back with me. Song Yangju completely forgot Su Jingwen was on the side and murmured. Her body was even getting hot. Su Jingwen's face blushed red like a tomato. She didn't expect Song Yangju to be this open. Were all married women like this? She thought about it, and her body felt soft too. Yemo looked into the distant sky lost in thought. He thought of Mu Xiaoyun, but where was she? For Yemo, the last time he let loose was when he saw Susu and Qinshu a few years ago. Now Song Yangju's passion almost ate him. For the first time, he eased up and slept an entire night. When the morning sun shone in, Yemo felt completely relaxed. He reached out and grabbed the soft body next to him. However, the body was a little stiff. He immediately laughed. Yangju, are you only so bold at night? Suddenly he felt this body wasn't Song Yangju's. The place he was holding was much bigger than Song Yangju. Yemo was shook, but a familiar body aroma smell came, and Yemo immediately knew who was in his arms. Jingwen? A mumble sounded. Jingwen was here. Yangju must have called her here. He didn't go think much and hugged Su Jingwen's stiff body. Su Jingwen only felt tense for a moment before she melted and instead cuddled Yemo with more passion. Su Jingwen was a very conservative woman, but she was also a woman who only had one love. Before Yemo, she had never liked a man before. After she liked Yemo, she experienced all sorts of troubles, from Ninghai to Luoyu City to the small world to Luoyu continent, chasing all the way here just for the Yemo she loved. Now in Yemo's arms, she released all these years of longing and desire. She crazily cuddled Yemo and kissed him as though trying to squeeze her entire body into Yemo. Yemo's heart rose with softness and love. He thought of that snowy day on the street. Su Jingwen seemed like a lonely scenery. She roamed on a street in a place she was unfamiliar with in the blizzard. He could never forget that. He could never forget how her eyes were still looking at him despite her being unconscious. Now, the woman was in his arms, but Yemo felt guilty. He felt he owed her a lot. A soft woman living on Earth had to stay in Peihai and fight spirit beasts every day. Su Jingwen had an extreme sense of satisfaction now. What are you thinking about? Su Jingwen saw Yemo look at her with loving eyes and hugged her so tight that she almost couldn't breathe. Yemo kissed her lips and said, I'm thinking about the snowing city, that lonely street. Su Jingwen's eyes turned miserable. When I first met you, I was in my home in a busy street. People flowed by. You were selling runes in one corner. At that time, you were not my scenery, but you saved my mother. The last time I saw you, I was alone in the street of another world. Snowflakes fell. You stood alone in the street waiting for the snow. At that time, you were the illusion in my heart. You let me leave without any last wishes. She never had thought that the last glance was no illusion. She really saw Yemo's. Su Jingwen looked at Yemo's wet, guilty eyes and lay on him. She wiped his eyes and murmured, Take me. The morning ray grew brighter and brighter, mixed with Su Jingwen's low moans. It seemed more and more tranquil. When Su Jingwen and Yemo got out of the bedroom, Su Jingwen and them were already waiting for them in the hall. Song Yangju, Yiling, and them looked at Su Jingwen with a smile, making her blush hard. Even though she was nascent soul state, her first time made her legs soft and shaky. Jiling, Meng Henan as well as Peihai's city lord were all here, even that elderly was here too. What happened? Yemo looked at them in confusion. Qiziu quickly said in respect, Sect Leader Yi, if Jiling Qianbei didn't tell me, we still wouldn't know that Sect Leader Yi was also a formation Grand Master. It's like this. After discussion, we want to set up a top-grade level 9 defense formation in Peihai. Yemo smiled and nodded. Even if City Lord Qi didn't say it, I would still come help. MOU is still in Peihai. Peihai not only needs a defense formation, but I also plan to set up a level 9 attack formation. In the future, beast tides of this caliber can be ignored. Hearing this, Qiziu said in joy, If it's really so, then Peihai City would be very safe. probably safer than Broken Leaf City. Cheese, you thought of something and quickly said. According to the news we got, the beast tide leaving Broken Leaf City was related to us. Yemo nodded. He also felt there was definitely some connection. While they were discussing how to set up the defense formation, Li Jingwen quickly walked in and said quietly, Sect leader, Wan Yu sect sent a flying sword. Their sect leader Shan Di invited sect leader to go to Wan Yu sect. His tone doesn't seem very nice. Yemo sneered. He hated these old people putting on airs. Shan Di had a deal with him, but he didn't stick to it, and even helped people attack MOU. Yemo wouldn't believe he didn't know about Yi coming here. This guy was no different to that Zhang Chufeng. How did he have the face to call him over? Who did he think he was? Thinking about this, Yemo sneered. I will go over, but not now. After I'm done with Peihai City, I will go to Wan Yu sect and kill that Yi for Li Qishan. 10 days later, outside a small town in North Far State, a young man and woman walked in. These two were Yemo and Su Jingwen. This town was the place Su Jingwen and Yemo stayed before, the place where Yemo was taken away. 10 days later, outside a small town in North Far State, a young man and woman walked in. These two were Yemo and Su Jingwen. This town was the place Su Jingwen and Yemo stayed before, the place where Yemo was taken away. They didn't know how long it would take to find Yemo, so Song Yangzhu and Yiling stayed in MOU. Yemo left behind a spirit marrow pond for them to break through to nascent soul state. There was Meng Hanan protecting them. The town was very old, but Yemo saw the two words water lily outside the town. Jinwen, you and Yemo lived in here for a while? Yemo asked. Su Jingwen leaned on Yemo and answered. When we came here we didn't know anyone, so we stayed here. Then, we went outside the town to practice some magic until that day, Yemo was taken disciple by that cultivator. Then I went to Fu Mo City alone. Fu Mo City was destroyed, so then I went to Jiangchuan City and met you. Yemo scanned with spirit sense inside the town. They were all ordinary people. He said to Su Jingwen, Jingwen, take me to the place where Yemo was practicing lightning magic. The two turned away, but soon, two figures landed in front of them. Yemo already recognized one of them. There was one man and one woman. The woman was very pretty, just a little bit less pretty than Su Jingwen. She was Golden Core State Level 6, the man was very handsome and was Golden Core State Peak Stage. Yi, stop! The female cultivator blocked Yemo's way and stared at him. What are you doing here? Then, she saw Su Jingwen and felt a little shocked. She clearly felt Su Jingwen was prettier than her. Yemo frowned and said coldly, What does that have to do with you? I feel strange. Last time I saw it was Ryu next to you. How come you changed someone today? She was the Hai Tong that he met at the South Mountain Market, the sect member of 5-star sect duo Heart Valley. Yemo remembered she had a brother called Hai Xian. This man with her wasn't Hai Xian. He became friends with Yuryu, and Yuryu gave him a low-grade star sand. That Yuryu was too honest and let this Han Tong have it her way for everything. Now, she was with some other male cultivator. Yemo quite approved of Yuryu, but he was just too honest. Hearing this, the male cultivator frowned but didn't talk. He couldn't tell Yemo or Su Jingwen's power, but Su Jingwen was indeed prettier than Hai Tong. Clearly she had no simple origin, so he didn't say anything. But he could tell both of them were very young. Perhaps the two had some stealth cultivation method, and that's why he couldn't see their power. It wasn't that their power was higher than his. His talent was very good and came from a big sect. It was very hard to surpass him for people around his age. Hai Tong sneered. Don't say shit, I have nothing to do with you, Ryu. Yemo seemed to breathe easy and nodded. That's great, I was scared that brother you took the wrong girl and ruined his life. It's good that he stopped and left you. Then Yemo couldn't be bothered talking to her anymore and said, Jingwen, take me to that small mountain. Su Jingwen agreed and held Yemo's hands, and they turned away. Humph. Hai Tong didn't like seeing Su Jingwen being so gentle to Yemo and suddenly said, You think you're good because you have a stealth cultivation method so I can't see your power? After all these years, don't tell me you're still Foundation Establishment State. However, Yemo still ignored her, so she said grumpily, Even if you don't tell me, I know you're going to All Herb Mountain Range. And you must apologize to me first, or you won't be able to leave. Go to All Herb Mountain Range for what? Yemo just wanted to ask when that male cultivator stopped in front of Yemo. You're rude, apologize to her before you go. He wasn't concerned with them now that Hai Tong exposed his past. Yemo looked at this golden core state male cultivator and felt strange. He was a cauldron-filling state, and was now stopped by a golden core state who was trying to force him to apologize. He glared at this male cultivator. You really want me to apologize? If you're not deaf, then do as Sister Tong said, the male cultivator said calmly. Yemo suddenly smiled. I know how to act cool more than you. I won't apologize, but I have a slap. Seeing that Yemo was going to fight, the male cultivator was immediately going to release his magic artifact, but he soon realized that he couldn't move at all. Slap Yemo's slap sent him flying a few hundred meters away, landing in a ravine. He then spat out more than 10 teeth. The calm look disappeared from his face. Instead, it was now full of shock. Slapping him a few hundred meters away just with a cultivation essence hand and binding him at the same time. What power was this? Nascent soul state? Definitely not. Hollow spirit state? Definitely not either. When he realized Yemo was probably body condensation state or above, there was extreme anxiety in his eyes. He offended a body condensation state cultivator. Even if he killed him, his sect wouldn't offend a body condensation state for him. Yemo shook his head and looked coldly at Hai Tong. On Ryu's account, I'll let you go again today. You should feel lucky you met me. If it was someone else, you would already be dead. Perhaps if you met someone else, you would know how important Ryu is to you before you die. Seeing the two leave, Hai Tong reacted and felt her face. She felt lucky but was extremely shocked at Yemo's power. Yemo was clearly above Hollow Spirit State, and the strongest person in her sect was only Hollow Spirit State. She understood what Ryu meant. When he was with her, he solved the many troubles she caused, just like at the market last time when she kept looking for trouble with Yemo. Hai Tong felt bad the more she thought about it. Before, she thought Ryu was a coward, apologizing to everyone. She felt Ryu lost face for the magical sword sect. Then, she stayed with core disciple of 6-star sect Luotan sword sect, Gumingsu. She experienced what it was like to do as she pleased. But was that really good? They taught a lesson to those weaker than him. If they met someone as powerful as Yemo, he might kill them on a whim. Hai Tong shivered. If Yemo wanted to kill her, there was nothing she could do. He might be able to annihilate her entire sect. Now, she didn't feel good about doing what she wanted, she just felt scared. Su Jinwen and Yemo stood at the top of a small hill. Yemo picked up a small rock, there were marks on it. Su Jinwen said this was left by Yemo cultivating her lightning-style cultivation method. At this moment, Yemo was sure something happened in the All-Herb Mountain Range. They were all flying towards it. Yemo sped up, and when he flew next to an extreme-grade flying spirit artifact, Yemo waved and said to the cultivator, "Friend, I have something to ask." This cultivator was nascent soul state middle stage. When he saw Yemo was using a low-grade flying cultivation artifact, and he couldn't see through Yemo's power at all, he knew Yemo's power was far higher than his. He quickly slowed down his flying spirit artifact and saluted with his fists. "Qianbei, what do you need to ask?" Yemo nodded. "Why are so many cultivators go to All-Herb Mountain Range now?" The cultivator answered. "A few days ago, the All-Herb Mountain Range's earth cracked open and the entire All-Herb Mountain Range was uprooted. Some peaks became valleys, some lakes became peaks." Yemo was shook. Did something happen to that hexagonal hall? That was a seal. If the seal was broken, would that spirit body come out? That guy was no simple person, otherwise why would he have a heaven-grade mobility technique or level 10 material? Yemo was worried as he had enmity with that guy. He took a lot of that guy's things but didn't help him at all. The nascent soul state cultivator quickly said, Qianbei, is there some problem? Yemo asked again. Earth-shattering happens frequently in some mountain ranges. There's no need to go see every time, right? The nascent soul state quickly said again. I heard that a lot of things that didn't belong to the all-herb mountain range appeared. There are all sorts of ores, spirit herbs, and some people even found the level 9 spirit herb truth spirit herb as well as many more level 8 spirit herbs. This happened? Yemo was shook. The nascent soul state nodded. Qianbei, this is definitely real. All these cultivators are going there for these spirit herbs and ores. Thank you. Yemo saluted with his fists, and then pulled Su Jin went out, releasing Blue Moon. Seeing the Blu-ray Blue Moon made, this nascent soul state looked dazedly at the trail thinking, this is probably an extreme-grade flying cultivation artifact. This is the first time I've seen one. What happened? Su Jin Wen asked. Changing flying magic artifacts made their speed hundreds of times faster. Yemo nodded seriously. I'm scared of something happening. If it really did, it won't be good. In just half an hour, a huge mountain range appeared before him. Even with his spirit sense, he couldn't scan for even 1,000th of the mountain range. He had come here more than once, but it had changed greatly. Yemo saw countless cultivators searching the outskirts for something. There were even more than 10 hollow spirit state cultivators. Yemo's Blue Moon immediately caught everyone's attention after all. It was not only high level but also pretty. However, no one dared to come up and talk. After all, they couldn't even see Yemo's power level, not even the hollow spirit state cultivators. However, one white-faced skinny old man appeared before Yemo and Su Jin Wen. His eyes seemed narrow, and he seemed harmless. But Yemo knew this old man was no good person. He was Sima Zhu, the guy called White Half-Pill King. He hated Yemo to the bones. Yemo knew the reason Sima Zhu dared to come over was because he was only Foundation Establishment State before. Seeing Sima Zhu walk towards Yemo, all the cultivators looked over. The other hollow spirit state cultivators were also surprised. Even they couldn't see Yemo's power. How did Sima Zhu dare to look for trouble with Yemo? The flying magic artifact was good, but he needed the power to steal it. Haha, the pill concoction Hall of Fame number 1 is indeed different. This stealth cultivation method makes even me unable to see your power. Yemo, this is your wife, right? She's very pretty. Sigh, what a pity. Sima Zhu shook his head. Haha, the pill concoction Hall of Fame number 1 is indeed different. This stealth cultivation method makes even me unable to see your power. Yemo, this is your wife, right? She's very pretty. Sigh, what a pity. Sima Zhu shook his head. Hearing this, all the cultivators realized that Yemo was using a stealth cultivation method. No wonder Sima Zhu dared to go up. Those few hollow spirit state cultivators regretted immediately. If they knew this, they would have gone up already. Sima Zhu grew strong rapidly these few years. He was hollow spirit state level 8 now. Ordinary hollow spirit state didn't dare to do anything to him. Plus, there was the rule of being first. Thus, despite knowing the flying magic artifact might be an extreme-grade cultivation artifact, they could only watch. Sima Zhu's tone changed. That old man Su Jian who tricked me saying you went to South Peace State. Hee, you're back quick. But your wife's power grows fast, she's nascent soul state middle stage already. Yemo looked calm and didn't do anything. He was waiting for Tong Wishing. Tong Wishing was also here, but this idiot Sima Zhu didn't realize. When they came, he needed to ask the two where they got the book thing. Yemo also saw another cauldron-filling state peak stage cultivator looking over, but he hid his power level. Cauldron-filling state peak stage cultivators were very rare in North Far State. Even though he showed his power to be hollow spirit state tertiary stage, he couldn't hide anything from Yemo. Seeing that Yemo didn't talk, Sima Zhu suddenly said coldly, You took my book and that rare flame in the Changfeng Valley, right? Give it to me, take out your storage ring, and slice off an arm. Sima Zhu laughed. You know why I let you live? Because you brought a good wife, so you saved yourself. Yemo wanted to wait for Tong Wishing to come over first, but since Sima Zhu wanted to die quickly and insult Su Jingwen, he couldn't hold back anymore. He took out a glove and put it on, then he said coldly, Sima Zhu, you know why I'm wearing a glove? Sima Zhu was dazed, but before he could react, Yemo grabbed Sima Zhu's neck and wrung it in the air before saying coldly, Because I'm afraid your neck would dirty my hands. Sima Zhu was no longer arrogant like before, his face was in utter shock. He had never thought that a foundation establishment state a few years ago would be this terrifying. He couldn't resist at all. What power was this? Body condensation state? Cauldron filling state or disaster transformation state? He saw Yemo reach his hand over, but he couldn't move. The rest of the hollow spirit state cultivators were all shocked and rejoiced at not going up. Yemo looked coldly at him. You're right, I took all those things, but what can you do? You can't see my power, but it's not because I'm hiding it. It's because I've progressed a lot, but it seems you haven't progressed much. You were hollow spirit state level 6 before, and now you're barely hollow spirit state level 8. Sima Zhu, have you been living like a dog? Yes, Qianbei. Qianbei. Sima Zhu couldn't even speak properly, he was trembling. He knew he was done for. But Yemo called to another cultivator. Tong Wishing, come over. Tong Wishing was on par with Sima Zhu in both pill concoction skills and power. He saw Yemo clench Sima Zhu's neck as soon as he got off his flying magic artifact and was very shocked. Before he could react, Yemo called him over. Without hesitation, he released his magic artifact, wanting to run. But as soon as he released his flying magic artifact, a lightning bolt appeared, blasting his flying magic artifact. Yemo said coldly, If you dare to run away, then don't come over. I'll send you off. Tong Wishing shivered and walked to Yemo, bowing. Yi Qianbei, Wanbei, Tong Wishing was blind and didn't see you here. I heard you went with this trash to Peihai City to find me? Yemo asked coldly. Qianbei is mistaken. How would I dare to find Qianbei? This Sima Zhu provoked me to go, but I didn't do anything in Peihai City, Tong Wishing quickly said. Oh? Yemo looked at Tong Wishing in confusion. But the rare flame and thing is all on me, don't you guys want it? Tong Wishing trembled, thinking would I dare to ask for it? But he quickly said, Qianbei, that belongs to you, how would I dare to ask for it? Then he pointed at Sima Zhu. This old man Sima is very evil, he liked his little martial sister, she didn't want to marry him, so he killed her man and raped her. Yemo's eyes flashed with disgust and threw Sima Zhu down. Where did you guys find that book? If there's one word I'm not happy with, I'll kill you. I'll say it, in South Mountain Market. We saw it in a stall and fought over it. We took half each. Then we wanted to ask that stall owner, but he was already gone. Tong Wishing frowned. Yemo frowned. He knew it was impossible to find the source of the book after all these years. He looked coldly at the two and said, You two fight now, I can consider letting the winner leave. Before Yemo finished talking, Sima Zhu released his dark net while Tong Wishing was on par, and more than 10 flying swords flew out of his sleeve. Seeing this, Yemo could tell just how sneaky these two were. The two didn't dare to hold back at all. Even though they knew Yemo was considering letting the winner leave, they didn't dare to have any objections. Sima Zhu's net was much more powerful than before and wanted to trap Tong Wishing's flying swords, but the two fought a lot and Tong Wishing knew how to counterattack. The two were getting farther and farther away. Yemo sneered, they wanted to play this trick with him. He was sure that Zhou Yushuang wouldn't know him as he left after she did. What shook him was the man next to her. He was Cauldron filling state peak stage, but hid his power to hollow spirit state level 6. Yemo saw 3 Cauldron filling state cultivators now, and they all hid their power. Only he didn't hide his power. He was Cauldron filling state level 7, and he showed his power to be Cauldron filling state level 7. Hai Tong saw Yemo and Su Jingwen immediately and quickly came over and bowed. Thank you, Brother Yi, for your forgiveness and persuasion. Hai Tong understands now. I apologize for my extreme rudeness before. Please forgive me. Yemo looked at her in surprise. She could wake up after what he casually said? In his eyes, she was beyond help. He was more scorning her than teaching her. Since she already said this, Yemo wasn't going to put on a stern face and tell her to piss off. He nodded and didn't say anything. To be honest, he really didn't want Yuryu to be with this woman. Who knew if she was only changing for the moment, and would go back to who she was after a while. Hai Tong, is this your friend? Why don't you introduce him? The woman with Hai Tong smiled and came over too. Yemo studied this woman and finally realized why she seemed disjointed. She was wearing a top-grade stealth magic artifact. This meant this woman not only hid her power but also hid her looks. Hai Tong quickly said, Sister Xiaoyi, this is the Brother Yemo I told you I was going to apologize to. Brother Yi, this is Sister Xiaoyi. I met her on the way, she was very nice so she brought me here. Yemo shook his head. This Hai Tong was white like paper, she didn't hide anything she was going to do. No wonder she did all those crazy things. No wonder she didn't have a real friend after all those years. Brother Yi, Sister Yi, Xiaoyi said politely. Yemo nodded, he had an extreme sense of discomfort with this Xiaoyi. He couldn't tell the feeling but three-birth chant was usually never wrong. He felt this Xiaoyi was no more than 30 years old but Yemo felt her eyes were older than Meng Hanan. This was very strange. Seeing that Yemo didn't introduce Su Jinwen, Xiaoyi smiled and didn't mind. The rumbling in the All-Herb mountain range stopped, and those space wind blades and void fissures disappeared. The cultivators slowly wanted to go back in and see again. Hai Tong suddenly looked at Yemo. Brother Yi, do you want to go in and have a look? Yemo looked at her then Xiaoyi and suddenly said, Hai Tong, if you trust me go back to your sect. It's not suitable for you here, at least not now. Huh? Hai Tong blushed. She felt she came to apologize but Yemo wasn't being very polite. But instantly she felt she shouldn't think like that. She came to apologize, if she cared about that, she would be the same as before. Thinking about this Hai Tong sighed and said with red eyes, Thank you Brother Yi, perhaps it's really not suitable for me outside. I'm going back, take care Brother Yi. Then, she said to Xiaoyi, Sister Xiaoyi, I'm going. If you have time you can come play at Dual Heart Valley. Xiaoyi quickly said, Don't be in a rush to go, there might be a lot of good things here. Hai Tong shook her head and took out a top-grade flying spirit artifact and then left. Seeing this, Xiaoyi forced a smile and said, Hai Tong is very naive, I can protect her here. Yemo sneered, naive was a nice way of saying it, the mean way of saying it was that she was an idiot. But you're not simple. Su Jinwen pulled Yemo's hand and said, Yemo, would your words be a bit? Yemo smiled. No. Then, the cultivators made another ruckus. Yemo scanned with spirit sense and found that the space formation door was gone. A long stairway appeared before them. Yemo was too familiar with it, it was here when he followed Zhou Yushuang and them. The stealth formation was gone, the space formation door was gone, there were just purely stairs. All the cultivators ran onto the stairs. The stealth formation was gone, the space formation door was gone, there were just purely stairs. All the cultivators ran onto the stairs. Yemo saw the cauldron filling state level 9 also went in. When Yemo wanted to bring Su Jinwen in as well, he heard Zhou Yushuang tell the cauldron filling state peak stage cultivator. Master, it's this place. The stealth formation was gone last time and we didn't find the space formation door. But now this place blasted out for some reason. She was only nascent soul state level 3 so Yemo heard everything she said. The master agreed and said after a while, Let's go down too. Yemo suddenly realized it was no wonder she had a level 8 space transmission rune when she was golden core state. She had a powerful master. Seeing them two go down, Yemo brought Su Jinwen down as well. At this moment, Xiaoyi came and asked softly, Brother Yi, can I go with you too? Yemo looked at her and nodded. Of course, anyone can go down here. Xiaoyi nodded obediently and carefully followed behind Yemo. Yemo sneered and protected Su Jingwen. This woman hid her face and power. Regardless of what she wanted, it made Yemo feel vigilant. Going down to the bottom of the stairs, there was still the same door. It was wide open now and many cultivators had gone in. Yemo and Su Jingwen walked to the door but found Zhou Yushuang and her master didn't go in. They were watching on the side. Yemo took Su Jingwen in without hesitation. Zhou Yushuang was probably scared they couldn't come out. Her master didn't go in for some other reason. No matter what, Yemo wouldn't care. This seal was open, all formations were destroyed, there was no way that people wouldn't be able to get out. Yemo went inside the hall and saw 4 bodies. They were the 4 cultivators looking for Fate Zijiang. It seemed they died as well. Their storage rings were all taken by the cultivators who came in first. Yemo looked away and wanted to find if the explosion was related to this place, and why there were suddenly so many spirit herbs and ores. However, he felt something was wrong. Even if the 4 couldn't get out, they wouldn't die. He had seen that spirit body. He sounded like he was very powerful, but Yemo knew if the people in the hall ignored him, there was nothing he could do to the cultivators in the hall. Then, how did the 4 nascent soul state cultivators die? Yemo looked at the 4 cultivators again and found in shock that their positions were very eerie, happening to form a 4 abyss blood-devouring formation. This was a demonic formation that used cultivators' essence blood as a lead and extreme-grade spirit herb as supplements. The only purpose of the formation was to use the cultivator's essence blood and spirit herbs to build the body. Usually, only essence spirits or souls would use such formation. It had a similar effect to immortal curl flower but way weaker. The body made with immortal curl flower was much stronger. Yemo looked at this and thought of the soul in the hall. He used these 4 nascent soul state cultivators to set up the formation, and then built his body before leaving here. But then Yemo shook his head, the seal here hadn't been touched. Even if he could set up the formation, he wouldn't be able to leave here. Yemo looked around and didn't see any abnormalities, meaning that the spirit herbs didn't come from here. The 4 nascent soul state cultivators were really idiots. A soul that couldn't come out tricked them into setting up this demonic formation. Yemo was speechless. There were more and more people here. Yemo knew that without his 9-forked key, these people wouldn't be able to open the seal, but there was no way he was taking the key out. Thinking about this, Yemo subconsciously looked at the key ring. It had turned dark red and he was dazed again. He could clearly tell the dark red color was due to blood. The people started to complain, seeing there was nothing they could take away. Yemo turned around and looked at the positions of the nascent soul state bodies again, and he began to sweat. He saw wrong. This wasn't a 4 abyss devouring blood formation, it was 4 elements break position formation. It was similar to the previous one, and was the blood sacrifice formation Luo Yuping had set up. Clearly, this wasn't to build a body but to break the seal. Thinking that the terrifying guy here might have already unlocked the seal and left, Yemo felt shivers down his spine. If this guy found him, he would be dead. If that soul really left here, it might be due to him helping him. He loosened this seal with the key and thus the break position formation was useful. What are you thinking? Su Jingwen shook Yemo's arms and asked. Just when he wanted to reply, he heard a loud explosion. A hollow spirit state was attacking the ring. The other cultivators all attacked it too. Yemo didn't know if the ring still had defensive capabilities after the seal was broken, but then there was a loud explosion, and the key ring was completely shattered. A dark abyssal door appeared before everyone. The cultivators were dazed and immediately rejoiced. They thought they had broken into the secret vault. A few nascent soul state cultivators charged in, but instantly they flew back out. When they came out, they were filled with thousands of holes. Those cultivators who wanted to go in all stopped in their steps, but the attacks didn't stop because of that. Countless wind blades and sword chi flew out, covering the entire hexagonal hall. Yemo immediately released his octagonal cauldron to protect him and Su Jingwen. Countless cultivators were torn apart by the wind blades and sword chi. Screams filled the hall. Some lucky cultivators charged out of the hall, but some unlucky ones were annihilated. Fortunately, this didn't last long, and 8 minutes later, they all disappeared. The hall wasn't full anymore. There were just about 30 to 40 cultivators left. Most of them were injured. In that short time, 200 or so cultivators had been killed. Those weaker nascent soul state cultivators immediately charged out of the hall upon seeing that the wind blades and sword chi had disappeared. Even some hollow spirit state primary stage cultivators left. The ruin was good, but they needed to be alive to enjoy it. Yemo looked at the cultivators still inside the hall. Most were hollow spirit state middle stage or tertiary stage. The cauldron filling state level 9 just used an ordinary defense magic artifact, and Zhou Yushuang's master only used a simple barrier. Xiao used a leaf-like magic artifact. Yemo looked at the cultivators still inside the hall. Most were hollow spirit state middle stage or tertiary stage. The cauldron filling state level 9 just used an ordinary defense magic artifact, and Zhou Yushuang's master only used a simple barrier. Xiao used a leaf-like magic artifact. These wind blades posed no threat to cauldron filling state cultivators at all. Yemo scanned his spirit sense into the dark door but found he could only scan about 10 meters into it. There must be a spirit sense barrier formation there. Yemo was sure that the soul had long left the seal. Yemo was worried about that guy, but he knew that at least for a short while he wouldn't be looking for trouble with him. The first thing he would be doing after getting free was finding a body to possess or rebuilding a body. Who wants to team up with me? That hollow spirit state middle stage scanned the tunnel and asked. As soon as he said that, another 3 hollow spirit state cultivators came out and the 4 formed a group. Then they released their magic artifacts and went into the tunnel. The people outside scanned their spirit sense in and saw more space wind blades and sword chi arose, but it didn't cause them much damage. Soon, they disappeared from everyone's spirit sense, but there was no sound as well. With them succeeding, the rest of the hollow spirit state cultivators all formed groups. Yemo saw that cauldron filling state level 9 also found a group and went in. Zhou Yushuang's master looked for a team with Zhou Yushuang, but no one wanted to group up with them. He only showed hollow spirit state middle stage power, and he brought along a useless Zhou Yushuang. As for Yemo, no one dared to make a team with him. Everyone knew he was the strongest here. He was body condensation state. Who dared to team up with him? Zhou Yushuang's master couldn't be bothered finding a team, so he just took Zhou Yushuang in. This made some hollow spirit state primary stage, and even nascent soul state tertiary stage cultivators keen to try. If Zhou Yushuang, a nascent soul state primary stage cultivator, and a hollow spirit state cultivator could go in, they could too. But soon they found they were wrong. For nascent soul state tertiary stage cultivators formed a group and they only walked less than 10 meters before they were torn apart. Brother Yi, can I form a group with you? Xiao asked shyly. Yemo smiled. I would, but I won't be able to protect you. I need to protect my wife. Xiao quickly said. I don't need you to protect me. I'm hollow spirit state peak stage. I can pass this myself. Yemo frowned. If you can pass yourself, then why do you want to team up with me? Xiao smiled awkwardly. That's true, I thought the same as them. It seems I really don't need a group. I'll go first, then Brother Yi. Then, Xiao walked into that dark tunnel. Yemo, I feel that something is wrong with that woman, but I can't tell exactly. Su Jingwen said. Yemo's sound transmissioned. Jingwen, you're right, she's very powerful. She's already cauldron filling state level 8. She's using a stealth cultivation method and is wearing a mask too. I don't know what she wants to do. Almost all the cultivators had left in the hall. Yemo also took Su Jingwen to go into that tunnel too. The space wind blades and sword she shot onto the octagonal cauldron and didn't affect them at all. Soon, they walked into an even bigger hall. There was nothing inside, but at the very end, there was a gray barrier. Spirit sense couldn't scan inside. The people who came in before didn't move and just looked at it. There were 13 hollow spirit state cultivators here and the cauldron filling state cultivators as well as EMO and Su Jingwen. The only person who didn't hide his power was EMO. He showed cauldron filling state level 7, but only those 3 cauldron filling state could see his power level. One hollow spirit state tertiary stage saluted with his fists to EMO. Qianbei, there's a gray barrier here, it's probably a defense formation. We can open it now. If there are good things inside, Qianbei can get 50% and we'll split up the remaining half. Would Qianbei be happy with that? EMO finally realized why the hollow spirit state cultivators who came in before didn't do anything. They were worried about him. EMO liked cultivators who knew their place, so he nodded. That's perfect, I'll take half. It's not something I can care about if you guys can split the remaining half evenly. Hearing this, the cauldron filling state level 9 and Zhou Yushuang's master smirked. Only Xiaoyi looked the same as before. Zhou Yushuang looked at EMO and shook her head. She considered EMO dead already. She knew that whatever her master wanted, no one could take away. This young person might be body condensation state, but 50% was too much for him to handle. Her master didn't tell her EMO's power. The hollow spirit state tertiary stage heard this and immediately looked happy. Wan Bei is very happy with Qianbei's words. We'll split everything else based on our power. I believe no one will be unhappy. Let's attack. The hollow spirit state tertiary stage waved out his magic artifact. With a rumble, his mountain seal struck the gray barrier and made it wobble. Seeing this, everyone else took out their magic artifacts and attacked the barrier, causing ripples to form on it. EMO didn't do anything. Since everyone treated him as the number 1 master, he needed to act like one. The most powerful Qianbei here didn't need to do such small things. With so many cultivators attacking, the barrier only lasted 8 minutes before cracking and disappearing. Once it disappeared, 7 golden balls appeared. When EMO scanned his spirit sense inside, he took a cold breath in. What seal was this? How were there such good things? The first orb had 3 extreme grade cultivation artifacts, 3 heaven grade level 7 cultivation methods. The second orb had 2 extreme grade cultivation artifacts, 1 heaven grade level 8 cultivation method and 1 armor. The third orb had a pill bottle with the words Truth Carrot Pill as well as a heaven grade level 9 cultivation method. As for the fourth orb, an orange flame floated above the cauldron, which was obviously an extreme grade cultivation artifact. The flame was Truth May Flame. It was ranked 8th amongst the heaven flames. The fifth orb was only a cultivation method, but when he saw it, even EMO sighed. It was an immortal grade level 1 cultivation method. The sixth orb was a low-grade defense immortal artifact, Worm Scale Shield. The seventh orb only had 3 crystals, but when EMO saw them, his eyes almost popped out. They had a spirit attribute circulating through them. They were more precious than extreme-grade spirit stones. He had never seen them, but he guessed they were either extreme-grade crystals or low-grade immortal crystals. Even EMO couldn't control himself, much less the other people here. One hollow spirit state primary stage forgot he was the weakest here and charged up to the first orb, wanting to grab it. Before he touched it, a huge power flicked him back, causing him to crash into the wall. He spat mouthfuls of blood. Then he remembered that he might not even be able to touch a part of these things. No one cared about this hollow spirit state who was flicked away by the light orb. Everyone just stared inside the 7 transparent yellow light orbs. If they just got one of the light orbs, it would be a huge fortune. Even truth realization state cultivators would drool over such things. No one cared about this hollow spirit state who was flicked away by the light orb. Everyone just stared inside the 7 transparent yellow light orbs. If they just got one of the light orbs, it would be a huge fortune. Even truth realization state cultivators would drool over such things. Hearing the heavy panting, EMO knew that bloodshed was to follow. That hollow spirit state tertiary stage woke up and said, "Friends, we have a Qianbei here, we'll let him choose any of the first 3 and then choose half from the fourth. Then we can split the rest, does everyone agree?" No one replied. Clearly no one agreed to this. Yemo's power was high, but he was at most a body condensation state cultivator. There were more than 10 hollow spirit state cultivators here. If they joined up, he might not be a match for them. The main thing was that the things inside the orbs were too shocking. Who would be willing to give it away? Almost all the cultivators left Yemo now and looked at him warily. They stood together in case Yemo tried to kill them one by one. Yemo smiled and didn't move at all. The 3 cauldron-filling state also showed frenzied eyes. They didn't move either. They'd seen all too much. Why would they move before someone else? 3 cauldron-filling state tertiary stage and 13 hollow spirit state cultivators. Yemo really wasn't afraid of them attacking him altogether. He was just scared that if he didn't take care of Su Jingwen, it wouldn't be good. Ha! A coarse voice sounded. I'll take 5 of the 7 orbs. That voice said this and was about to grab the orbs. Everyone saw it was a hollow spirit state tertiary stage cultivator. A few hollow spirit state cultivators wanted to get near him and stop him. But that hollow spirit state tertiary stage didn't even use his magic artifact, and just used a few hand signs, and those cultivators were stopped. Soon, those hollow spirit state cultivators were thrown away onto the rock wall. However, their necks were twisted and they had stopped breathing. The cultivators saw this and all took a cold breath in. They all realized that this hollow spirit state tertiary stage definitely hid his power. Clearly, he was body condensation state or cauldron filling state to be able to kill these few hollow spirit state cultivators so easily. Everyone looked at Yemo as he was the strongest here. But now, there was another cultivator hiding his power. Clearly, the fight would happen between these two first. Those excited hollow spirit state cultivators all calmed down. The things here were good, but it was questionable if they were going to be able to take them. There were 2 cultivators above body condensation state here. Yemo saw that Xiao Yi and Zhou Yushuang's master didn't move either. Clearly, they could tell this cultivator was hiding his power too. This hollow spirit state tertiary stage stopped hiding his power, and soon showed he was cauldron filling state level 9. No matter what, he was going to get all these powerful treasures. Other than Yemo, who had a calm look, Zhou Yushuang's master and Xiao Yi all showed surprise and seriousness. They didn't expect someone was hiding their power like him. That cauldron filling state level 9 walked up to Yemo and saluted with his fists. Friend, you're cauldron filling state level 7, that's cauldron filling state tertiary stage. There are 7 orbs here, I'll only take 5 and you can have 2, how is that? Yemo sneered. A mere cauldron filling state level 9. He could kill him easily, and yet he asked shamelessly for 5 orbs. However, Yemo knew now wasn't the time to divide up the orbs, so he said calmly, If you want the orbs then go for it, don't ask me. Hearing this, he looked satisfied. Clearly, to him, Yemo knew he was cauldron filling state level 9 and backed down. He nodded. Very well. He walked to the 5th orb. Clearly, he wanted that immortal grade level 1 cultivation method. Yemo saw Zhou Yushuang's master slowly gather up cultivation essence as that cauldron filling state level 9 walked to the 5th orb. To be honest, this immortal grade level 1 cultivation method had no enticement to Yemo at all. He wanted the 7th orb the most, with the 3 crystals. That cauldron filling state cultivator grabbed the yellow orb and his cultivation essence clashed with the defense of the orb. The cauldron filling state level 9 grunted and moved a few steps back. Seeing this, Zhou Yushuang's master stopped his decision to attack. But Yemo ignored the cauldron filling state cultivator and just looked at the orb in shock. Then, he was speechless. When that cauldron filling state grabbed the orb cracked. Yemo's spirit sense could transform, and his spirit sense reached inside the crack instantly, and saw that cultivation method was just an illusion. Yemo looked from the first to the last orb and saw that only the 3 crystals were real. The rest seemed fake. So powerful! The cauldron filling state took a few steps back and looked at these orbs. Then he looked at Yemo, clearly wanting to join forces with Yemo to attack these orbs. Yemo laughed. Let me see. Yemo walked to the first orb and grabbed it. No one knew, he just wanted to reach his spirit sense inside the orb. He didn't really want to grab what was inside. There was a thud. It was just a light sound and he wasn't flicked away by the orb. Soon, everyone realized that Yimo's cultivation essence was weaker than the first cultivator, so the sound was much quieter. His spirit sense reached inside and saw the 3 extreme grade cultivation artifacts. They were fake 3 heaven grade level 7 cultivation methods, fake. Yimo frowned and walked to the second orb, grabbing it like before. He found they were all fake. Seeing Yimo touch all the orbs, no one knew what he was doing. The cauldron filling state level 9 frowned and saluted with his fists. Friend, this won't work. The orbs won't open. I think we should attack together. If we can open them, I'm willing to give you an extra orb, how about it? Yimo shook his head. Although they were just all hollow spirit state cultivators on the side, the cauldron filling state level 9's words were taboo. He thought they were nothing and wanted everything for himself. Yimo looked at the cauldron filling state cultivator and said, I'll try again. If it doesn't work, then we'll see. Then, as Yimo grabbed onto the last orb, there was a thud. Yimo's spirit sense reached inside and instantly, Yimo was shook to find that those crystals were all real. They were definitely not spirit crystals. His spirit sense felt an extreme sense of comfort just scanning them. Yimo suppressed his joy and walked to the side, saluting his fist to the cauldron filling state level 9. I tested and found these few balls are very sturdy. Only the last one I feel I have some hope of taking, so I'll just take the last orb. I feel I won't be able to open the other orbs. Really? The cauldron filling state reached for the last orb too, but he was flicked away like before. He frowned and said coldly, Didn't you say the last one is easier? 1265 tearing the orb. 1265 tearing the orb, Yimo said calmly. I have an extremely powerful truth explosion orb. If I use my full power, I might be able to break one. The 3 spirit crystals are good, I'll have them. Truth explosion orb? The cauldron filling state level 9 repeated in shock. This was a one-time use magic artifact that truth realization state cultivators could create. If Yimo used truth explosion orb against him, he might be seriously injured if he was caught off guard. He thought Yimo would be no match for him, but if Yimo had a truth explosion orb, it would be completely different. This cauldron filling state level 9's face changed, and after a while he sighed. I didn't expect you to have such a powerful one-time use magic artifact. I have no objections to you using one to open an orb. But the rest of the orbs? Yimo waved his hand. I won't have any of them. I promise, I just want the 7th one. Plus, after I open it, I won't have the ability to open any more. Okay then, I have no objections, go open it. But the truth explosion orb might destroy the contents of the orb. The cauldron filling state answered. Although Yimo said he only had one truth explosion orb, who knew how many he really had? He didn't believe Yimo would use the only one he had here. If he was in Yimo's position, he wouldn't use it to open the orb. He would use it to hurt the strongest person here first. Yimo smiled. I only want the 7th orb. If I accidentally break the contents inside, then I won't pursue any other orbs. The cauldron filling state rejoiced. He was waiting for Yimo to say that. Just when he thought Yimo was going to open it, Yimo turned around and looked at the hollow spirit state cultivators. I only want the 7th orb, is that fine with everyone? How could the hollow spirit states object? When he looked at Xiaoyi, she smiled. I would love for Brother Yi to have one of the orbs, how can I disagree? Yimo smiled. Great. Then Yimo asked Zhou Yushuang's master, and the man stared closely at Yimo as though wanting to see why Yimo asked him. However, Yimo's tone was the same to everyone, nothing special. The cauldron filling state level 9 shook his head. He thought that Yimo was a cauldron filling state level 7. If he wanted an orb, who would dare to object? This was just so extra. But even so, he frowned and didn't object. After all, asking didn't take much time. He wanted Yimo to help him open the other orbs after he took something from the 7th orb. He even planned to give Yimo something so Yimo would help him. Seeing Yemo asked him, Zhou Yushuang's master said calmly, "Even if you take all the orbs, I won't have a problem." Yemo's tone suddenly became cold and he stared coldly at Zhou Yushuang's master. "Just say whether you have a problem or not. If I find someone trying to harm me when I take something from the orb, I will eliminate that threat now." Yemo didn't want people disturbing him when he broke open the orb, that's why he asked one by one. He was mainly asking the two cauldron-filling state cultivators. If Zhou Yushuang's master acted up, he would attack immediately. He believed that if he was to take on Zhou Yushuang's master, the other two cauldron-filling state wouldn't intervene. Plus, even if they did, he wasn't afraid. Hearing Yemo's cold words, Zhou Yushuang's master's eyes dilated. He was sure Yemo saw through his power. Otherwise, why would he waste time on a hollow spirit state cultivator? Yemo's words meant that if he dared to say no now, he would attack immediately. Zhou Yushuang's master was planning to attack Yemo when he was opening the seventh orb, but now that Yemo asked him, he felt he was seen through. Seeing Yemo's eyes grow cold, Zhou Yushuang's masters nodded. "I have no objections, there are 7 orbs here. But Qianbei, you only want 1. Yemo knew what he meant and said coldly, "You're right, Qianbei will only take 1. He was clearly scorning Zhou Yushuang's master. Zhou Yushuang's master nodded. If it was just Yemo here, he would have attacked already, he could tell Yemo's sarcasm. Now Yemo just wanted the 7th orb. There were just 3 crystals there, it wasn't the most precious thing. More importantly, his greatest enemy was the cauldron-filling state level 9. If he fought with Yemo, that cauldron-filling state level 9 would help Yemo for sure. He was cauldron-filling state peak stage, but he wasn't confident to win over a cauldron-filling state level 9 and cauldron-filling state level 7. Plus, this cauldron-filling state level 7 said he had a truth explosion orb. Even he didn't dare to face it head-on. Seeing the main opponents agree, Yemo took Su Jingwen to the 7th orb. Although they all agreed, he still had to be wary of the others attacking Su Jingwen as he took the orb. The cauldron-filling state level 9 saw Yemo walk to the 7th orb and just stared at Yemo. The truth explosion orb's power was huge. If he went over now, it might affect him. As for the rest of the hollow spirit state cultivators here, he already considered them dead. Before he got the orbs, he would kill anyone who dared to leave. Zhou Yushuang's master stared at the cauldron-filling state level 9. He was preparing to ambush him when he opened an orb. As long as he injured him, the rest of the orbs would be his. It didn't matter to him if Yemo just took an orb with spirit crystals. Xiaoyi just stared at Yemo and Su Jingwen. No one could tell what she was thinking. Yemo walked to the 7th orb and didn't take out the truth explosion orb like everyone expected. He instead took out a few formation flags and set up a formation before releasing a kitchen knife magic artifact and hacking at the orb. With a thud, the orb was opened by Zisu, creating a very small opening. Other cultivators thought the opening would slowly close, but instead it didn't. It instead got bigger until it was enough for his hand to reach in. Yemo's face was getting more and more pale. No one knew he was using his full power. He made the agreement with the 3 cauldron-filling state cultivators as he was the weakest now. His spirit sense was used to the max. The opening wasn't opened by his cultivation essence but spirit sense. He had tested cultivation essence before. It was useless against such barrier. The more powerful the cultivation essence, the more powerful the concussion. Only spirit sense could open it. If these 3 cauldron-filling state cultivators attacked him now, all he had done would be for nothing and he would be heavily injured. He was already planning to kill Zhou Yushuang's master when he was hesitating. It wasn't hard for him to kill cauldron-filling state peak stage, but he didn't want to kill for no reason. Luckily, Zhou Yushuang's master agreed, fearing he would collaborate with the cauldron-filling state level 9. The crack grew wider. Zhou Yushuang's master and Xiaoyi were dazed too. They thought Yemo would be opening it with truth explosion orb, but Yemo could tear it apart instead. The cauldron-filling state level 9's eyes flickered. He was hesitating whether he should ambush Yemo. If it wasn't for the truth explosion orb Yemo talked about, he might really do it. Before he could make up his mind, Emo grabbed the 3 crystals. Their spirit chi that was comfortable to the extreme almost made him moan. He put the 3 crystals in his golden page world as quickly as he could. When Emo pulled his hand out, the orb instantly closed. Without hesitation, Emo ate a spirit recovery pill. The cauldron filling state level 9 saw this and sneered. He looked at Emo and asked gloomily, "Why didn't I see you use the truth explosion orb? Did I hear wrong?" He looked at Emo and asked gloomily, "Why didn't I see you use the truth explosion orb? Did I hear wrong?" Emo recovered a part of his spirit sense and removed the formation casually. He looked coldly at this cauldron filling state level 9 and said, "Why would I use it? You're so weird." Emo was planning to go now that he got what he wanted. If this cauldron filling state level 9 dared to talk, he would teach him a lesson. The cauldron filling state level 9 didn't expect this cauldron filling state level 7 to become so rude after he got what he wanted. He was dazed and asked angrily, "Didn't you say you have a truth explosion orb, or did I hear and everyone hear wrong?" If Emo wasn't cauldron filling state level 7, he would have attacked already. Emo said calmly, "Then you're deaf. I just said I had the orb. When did I say I was going to use it? Are you a pig brain? The orb can even kill disaster transformation state cultivators. Would I use it on a few spirit crystals? Would you do it? You." The cauldron filling state level 9 spread out his power and a black magic artifact appeared in his hand. This was a top-grade cultivation artifact yin-yang fan. He clearly didn't like Emo's attitude and was about to attack. "It seems you toughened up now that you got what you want. Are you going to fight over the other orbs?" The cauldron filling state level 9 asked with dense killing intent. Emo sneered and didn't even bring out a magic artifact. He said coldly, "I always live up to my words. I'll only take 1 orb. If you want to fight, then fight. I don't have much patience." The cauldron filling state level 9 looked at Emo with uncertainty. Would a cauldron filling state level 7 be so tough to him if he didn't have something like the truth explosion orb? Zhou Yushuang's master hoped Emo and the cauldron filling state level 9 would fight, then he could ambush them. As long as he killed one, he would be undefeated. However, just when everyone thought they were going to fight, the cauldron filling state level 9 said calmly, "Since you don't want the rest of the things, we have no conflict. I don't need to fight with you." Seeing this, Emo was a little surprised too. He was thinking how many strikes it would take to kill this cauldron filling state level 9, but instead he retreated. Thinking about this, Emo knew he was probably scared of his truth explosion orb. He wasn't a murderous person. If he was, he would have killed everyone here beforehand, but Emo didn't do that. He wanted to teach this cocky cauldron filling state level 9 a lesson, but he backed down. Emo didn't want to have this pointless fight. Zhou Yushuang's master seemed a little disappointed. "Brother Yi, are you going?" Xiao Yi saw Emo seemed to want to leave here and seemed unwilling. Emo knew she was problematic, but no matter what was wrong with her, it had nothing to do with him. Plus, the only real orb was taken by him, so what was the point of staying here? Emo glanced at her and said calmly, "Yes, I'm someone with self-knowledge. I am very happy with just 1 orb. As for the rest, you guys can have it. I'll be going off first." Xiao Yi heard this and suddenly called, "Brother Yi, can you go later? If you go, I'll be scared being by myself here." Hearing this, Emo frowned. He really didn't like this woman. Emo said coldly, "If you're scared, then let's go together. Why are you staying here?" Xiao Yi looked at the 6 orbs and said, "If I can get one of the 6 orbs, I would be very satisfied. Sigh, I'd be willing to give my life for something like that." There was a strong sense of seduction in her words. Those hollow spirit state cultivators couldn't even keep their eyes off her and gulped their saliva. Emo sneered. Su Jinwen was right next to him, and she dared to do this. But no matter what tricks she used, it wouldn't affect him. He had cultivated next to the bitter bamboo, and his Dao heart was very firm. Seeing this seductive Xiao Yi, Su Jinwen was unhappy and leaned closer to Emo and said, "Emo, let's go." Just when Yemo wanted to talk, he heard a cold voice say, "No one can leave now, I've sealed this place. No one can come in either." Yemo was shaken. After he heard the voice, he looked at this man. Clearly, he was much stronger than him. Two cultivators came in. One was hollow spirit state primary stage with a square face and thin eyes. Yemo felt this cultivator was very familiar. The other cultivator was a middle-aged man. His power made Yemo's eyes spasm. This middle-aged man was disaster transformation state level 9. Soon Yemo remembered why this square-faced man seemed familiar to him. When Tang Mengrao told him about Yi, she said he had a square face and thin eyes. With this disaster transformation state level 9 next to him, it wasn't hard to guess who he was. This middle-aged man was Wang Yusek's Shan Di and the young cultivator was Yi. Realizing this, disgust rose up Yemo's heart. This guy killed Li Qishan, and he had said he would get revenge for Li Qishan. Now that was here, he couldn't be blamed for what was to come. Shan Di had some capability. Yi's Dan Tian was destroyed by Lin Xiongtian, but he could still find spirit herbs to repair it. Wang Yusek was quite rich. He didn't know how the two were related, but Shan Di took him so seriously and brought him around. Shan Di scanned around and his pressure swept across the hall. Those few cauldron-filling state cultivators were shaking. "Sect leader Shan Qianbei." The cultivators greeted Shan Di with respect and carefulness. When Yi came inside, his eyes never left Su Jingwen and Xiao Yi. He looked at Su Jingwen again and again, making Yemo very annoyed. If it weren't for Shan Di, he would have already attacked. But Yemo knew that although Yi must be killed, he needed to ensure Su Jingwen was safe. Shan Di nodded and then looked at the cauldron-filling state level 9 for a while until he was sweating before looking at Yemo. Yemo and the woman next to him were the only two who didn't salute to him. This made him annoyed. He looked at Yemo for a while but didn't say anything. He then looked at the dead hollow spirit state cultivators and asked coldly, "Who killed them? Did someone kill innocent people because he thought he was strong? There aren't many high-level cultivators in North Far State already. If they are killed like this, who can be depended on in the next beast tide? Just me?" Then, he looked at Yemo, clearly thinking he had done it as Yemo didn't greet him when he came in. He thought Yemo was a cocky guy. Yemo saw this and sneered. How could he not know Shan Di wanted trouble with him? However, he wasn't scared at all. Just when Shan Di wanted to keep asking, he saw what was inside the 7 crystal balls and there was extreme disbelief and joy in his eyes. Extreme Grade Cultivation Artifact and Heaven Grade Cultivation Method, the Truth Carrot Pill that made him unable to breathe, Heaven Flame, Immortal Artifact. Extreme Grade Cultivation Artifact and Heaven Grade Cultivation Method, the Truth Carrot Pill that made him unable to breathe, Heaven Flame, Immortal Artifact. What ruin was this? He started panting heavily. He was sure that all the things in North Far State combined weren't even worth 10% of what was here. Yet he somehow came across something like this. The things here were more and more precious than the next. When he saw the 7th orb, he was dazed. According to this, the 7th orb should be the most precious. Why was it empty? When he subconsciously looked around wanting to ask someone, he saw everyone look at him, immediately knew his outlook wasn't too good. He coughed and acted calm. Why is the 7th orb empty? Shan Di calmed down as he knew that since he had come, everything here belonged to him. No one could take it. No one would dare to take things in front of him in the North Far State. The cauldron-filling state level 9 immediately got up and pointed at Yemo. Shan Qianbei, he took the 7th orb. There were 3 crystals inside. The spirit chi is denser than extreme-grade spirit stones. They might even be immortal crystals. The cauldron-filling state cultivator didn't like Yemo already and didn't want him to have it easy. He wanted to exaggerate things and make Shan Di attack, but when he spoke of immortal crystals, he paused for a moment. No matter how dumb he was, he realized the last orb had immortal crystals. The orbs before had low-grade immortal artifacts, so how could the last orb be worse than the one before? Yet, like all other cultivators, he didn't think of this earlier. After all, immortal crystals couldn't appear in the cultivation realm. 3 immortal crystals might not even be able to buy a corner of a low-grade immortal artifact, but in the cultivation realm it was different. Immortal crystals were definitely more precious than immortal artifacts. A powerful forgery Grand Master would be able to forge a low-grade immortal artifact with the right materials. But immortal crystals were different, since they would never appear in the spirit chi arid cultivation realm. Immortal crystals were the best pills for cultivators. They had no pill poison, just pure and clean immortal chi. Realizing EMO might have taken immortal crystals, the cultivator's eyes showed extreme regret. Why didn't he think of it? If he did, he would get one if he could. It was just a cauldron filling state level 7 cultivator. He wouldn't mind fighting over an immortal crystal for him. Plus, it wasn't even certain if he really had the truth explosion orb. Not only this, but Zhou Yushuang's master and Xiao Yi also realized that the 3 crystals EMO took were immortal crystals. Even if they were low-grade immortal crystals, it was something the cultivation realm didn't have. Their eyes were full of regret. EMO wasn't too sure if these crystals were the legendary immortal crystals, but now that this cauldron filling state level 9 said this, he was very sure they were low-grade immortal crystals. Hearing this, Shandi looked at EMO again and had eyes that showed he must have them. The 3 crystals you took were immortal crystals? Seeing EMO not have the intention to talk, Shandi asked. EMO said calmly, I don't know, I didn't look at them. Oh. Shandi was unhappy. A Wanbei like EMO should have the initiative to take them out and show him, but EMO didn't do anything. Shandi waited a long while, but EMO still had no intentions of showing him. Shandi frowned. It was so obvious what he meant, but this cauldron-filling state still didn't show him. He grunted and said, Show me those 3 crystals. I'll check if they're really immortal crystals. EMO sneered but said calmly, No need, no matter if they are immortal crystals, I won't mind. Insolence! Shandi yelled. There are so many people here and you're the only one who took something. You also killed low-level cultivators. Do you think you can do whatever you want just because you have some extra power? How could EMO not know Shandi was using an excuse to attack him? But to be honest, he really wasn't scared of Shandi after his recent enlightenment. He could even fight truth realization state beast cultivators, so how could he be scared of a mere disaster transformation state level 9 Shandi? As soon as Shandi said this, EMO laughed. This is really funny, it's mine, why should I show you? Plus, this many cultivators all agreed to me taking the 7th orb. Even they don't mind, but you who came later instead interrogate me. Do you think you can do whatever you want just because your power is high? Sending back exactly what Shandi said to him, Shandi was at a loss for words. He stared coldly at EMO and then scanned the cultivators. He wanted to ask if they really all agreed. But then he stopped. He couldn't ask that. He was about to take the remaining 6 orbs. Was he going to ask the rest of the cultivators too? But at this moment, a crisp voice sounded. Shan Qian Bei, he didn't ask me when he took it, maybe because my power is too low. EMO wasn't afraid of Shandi, but this made him very annoyed. He looked at Zhou Yushuang, not expecting her to act against him. He didn't ask her firstly because she was the weakest, and secondly because he already asked her master. Such a sneaky Wanbei, I want to see how you can act so tough. Shandi was about to attack. But before he could, another voice sounded. Martial brother Shan, why is your temper so big? You sealed the outside off too? It took me so much effort to get in. Hearing this voice, Shandi immediately stopped and said politely, Martial sister Mengrao, I heard you were fine and wanted to visit you. I didn't expect something to happen to all Herb Mountain Range, so I came to check it out. EMO's spirit sense already scanned Tang Mengrao, while all Shandi was thinking about were the immortal crystals. Tang Mengrao also had a young girl next to her. It was probably her disciple. Did these powerful people all like to roam around with their disciples? Tang Mengrao saw EMO and looked surprised and joyful. Sect leader Yi, you're here too? Although she was disaster transformation state tertiary stage, she didn't dare to act big in front of Emo at all. She knew Emo's power. This was a guy who could easily kill disaster transformation state primary stage cultivators and fight with truth realization state cultivators. Even she and Jiling might not be able to take a few blows in front of that truth realization state level 2, but Emo could and only spat a little blood. Thus, even Tang Mengrao wasn't certain she could beat Emo. When she saw Emo, she considered him a cultivator of her level. Just when she wanted to introduce her disciple to Emo, her spirit sense also scanned the 6 orbs and she was dazed. Extreme grade cultivation artifact, truth carrot pill, immortal grade cultivation method, immortal artifact. Tang Mengrao rubbed her eyes. Am I seeing this right? As soon as she came, Shan Di knew he had to split half with Tang Mengrao, but he didn't mind that much. There were too many good things here, he didn't need all of them. Shan Di nodded. Yes, Martial Sister Mengrao, I was in disbelief when I came here too. What ruin is this? All these things are here, but the immortal crystals of the 7th orb have been taken away. Immortal crystals? Tang Mengrao interrupted in shock. Shan Di nodded. Yes, it's taken by that cauldron-filling state level 7 cultivator. He not only took it but also killed a few hollow spirit state cultivators who disrespected him. He pointed at the dead hollow spirit state cultivators and said, I'm ashamed there are such cultivators in North Far State. I was planning to teach him a lesson. Tang Mengrao heard this and looked at Emo in shock. She thought Emo wasn't someone who would kill innocent people. She hadn't been with Emo for long, but she knew he wasn't a murderous person. Tang Mengrao heard this and looked at Emo in shock. She thought Emo wasn't someone who would kill innocent people. She hadn't been with Emo for long, but she knew he wasn't a murderous person. The young girl next to Tang Mengrao heard this and immediately looked disgusted. She then came up to Shan Di and bowed. Yu Chan greets Shan Qianbei. Shan Di nodded, but Tang Mengrao said, Yu Chan, this is Emo, the sect leader you wanted to thank. He saved your master, you should call him Martial Uncle, greet him. He's Emo? That young girl looked at Emo in shock but didn't really call Emo Martial Uncle. Tang Mengrao's face didn't look so good seeing her disciple was rude. Just when she wanted to speak, Shan Di said in surprise, You're Emo? The one who caused my disciple Yi's Dan Tian to get destroyed. Emo smirked in contempt. This Shan Di really knew how to connect the dots. His disciple wanted to annihilate Mou in Peihai City, but he blamed him for harming his disciple. This bastard really knew how to bullshit. Shan Di took out a fire rune mirror and said coldly, Even if you're Emo, on Mengrao's account I'll let you go for what you did to Yi, but I won't let you go for killing innocents. Release your magic artifact. Emo sneered. Which one of your dog eyes saw me kill someone? If you want to fight, then fight, stop pretending and finding an excuse. Then Emo took out Zisu. Seeing this, Tang Mengrao quickly stopped Shan Di. Martial brother Shan, let's clear things up first. Perhaps those few hollow spirits they defended Emo first. Tang Mengrao knew that Shan Di was disaster transformation state level 9, but he really might not be able to beat Emo. Emo killed the disaster transformation state middle stage cultivator when he wasn't cauldron filling state tertiary stage before, and now he was cauldron filling state tertiary stage. Even truth realization state's domains were useless against him. Seeing this, Shan Di frowned. Martial Sister Mengrao, you want to help this murderous cultivator? Tang Mengrao saw Emo's face full of killing intent and sighed. Even if she did stop Shan Di, Emo would still fight him as Yi had come today. However, Zhou Yushuang suddenly said, Emo didn't kill those hollow spirit state cultivators, it was this person. Then Zhou Yushuang pointed at the pale-looking cauldron filling state level 9. Instantly, everyone looked at him. Shan Di only needed to look around at the eyes of the cultivators to know she was right. Shan Di looked back annoyedly at this cauldron filling state level 9. He didn't really want to help those dead cultivators get justice. He just wanted to find an excuse to kill Emo and take his storage ring. Seeing this, the cauldron filling state level 9 explained with a pale face. Shan Qianbei, Those few hollow spirit state cultivators ambushed me, that's why I killed them. So that's it. Shandi frowned and said, Don't kill people so easily if it's not a big deal. North Far State is weakened already. The cauldron filling state level 9 quickly nodded his head. Yes, Wanbei knows. Wanbei will remember Qianbei's teachings. Emo sneered. Stop acting cool, you just want my 3 immortal crystals, but I won't give them to you. What are you going to do? The girl next to Tang Mengrao almost laughed out. Shandi's face went cold. You think I won't kill you just because sect leader Tang is here? Wanbei, I can kill you like a chicken. Emo laughed and flicked Zisu until it rang before saying coldly, Shandi, you don't need to be in a rush to kill me, I'll let you do that in a while. When I left Peihai City, I made 3 spirit recovery pills for you. I supplied the herbs, I don't know who it saved. But then, Emo raised his voice. But Shan bastard, what was our deal? Your sect sent a hollow spirit state to protect MOU, but what you do, you old bastard? You let the little bastard and a little witch attack MOU. Not only did you not help MOU, instead you attacked it. If it wasn't for Ling Zhongtian Qianbei, MOU would be gone now. Is your face a butthole? Your words are like shit. Finally, the girl next to Tang Mengrao couldn't hold her laughter. This was like slapping sect leader Shan in the face a few times. Shandi's face burst red and he took out his magic artifact again. This was nothing to Shandi, but a mere Wanbei dared to say this was a deal with Wanyu sect. Wanbei, I will kill you! Shandi took out the fire rune mirror. Emo sneered. Don't be in a rush, I need to kill someone here first. It's that trash Kaldi behind you. He killed my friendly Qishan and dared to attack MOU. I was planning to go over to Wanyu sect to kill that bastard, but since that bastard came today, I won't need to go to Wanyu sect in case I ruin the pretty flowers and scare the beautiful wives there. Shandi was so angry he almost spat blood. His cultivation essence burst into the fire rune mirror. He was going to let Yemo realize in his death what it meant when a cauldron filling state level 8 fought with a disaster transformation state level 9. Tang Mengrao sighed but didn't stop Yemo. She knew that there was no way she could stop this battle. Master! Yu Chan had a bad impression of Yemo, but after knowing he didn't kill those hollow spirit state cultivators, she was worried for him instead. Tang Mengrao pulled her to the side and said, Don't worry, stand behind Master and don't get caught in the crossfire. Yu Chan looked at her master in confusion. Shandi might get her caught in the crossfire if he wanted to kill that man? Wasn't it just a matter of one palm? The rest of the cultivators looked at Yemo with pity. Yemo probably couldn't even last 10 seconds with Shandi. The cauldron filling state level 9 saw this and his eyes flashed with excitement. He had long wanted to attack Yemo. As soon as Shandi's fire rune mirror was released, the temperature in the hall rose up drastically. Everyone moved to the side. Yemo casually sent Su Jingwen to one corner and hacked out with Zisu. Su Jingwen wasn't worried at all. The mirror grew bigger and bigger until it loomed over Yemo like the midday sun. Shandi really didn't take this level of a cultivator seriously. He used his mirror because he wanted to burn Yemo to death straight away. He could get revenge and assert dominance this way. But he wasn't facing an ordinary cauldron filling state level 7, he was facing Yemo, a cauldron filling state cultivator who dared to fight with truth realization state cultivators. If Shandi saw Yemo's fight with the truth realization state, he would never underestimate Yemo nor even fight with him. Yemo instantly found the weakness of fire rune mirror, and Yemo felt contemptuous at heart. Shandi had so much fame, but his domain wasn't even in initial completion. The reason Yemo had such a feeling was firstly because Shandi had just recovered after coming back from the war, and secondly since his strongest magic artifact was broken by Lin Zhongtian, and it still hadn't been repaired yet. His domain was indeed in initial completion, and that was quite significant for disaster transformation state cultivators. But his domain needed that magic artifact to show greater power. The fire rune mirror shone brighter until eventually, all other cultivators except Yemo could only see a scorching ray of white. Even Spirit Sense couldn't scan inside, as it would be turned into nothing. The fire rune mirror shone brighter until eventually, all other cultivators except Yemo could only see a scorching ray of white. Even Spirit Sense couldn't scan inside, as it would be turned into nothing. Moments later, the scorching ray formed ring-like waves that spread out from the mirror towards Yemo. Almost all the cultivators were waiting for Yemo to get melted completely. But soon, people were surprised. Yemo's Zissou hacked out after the mirror came out, and the purple ray outshone the terrifying ray of Shandi's mirror. When the purple ray clashed with the white rings were forced away and dispersed. The scorching ray was dissipated and a floating huge fire rune mirror was revealed. Shandi was dazed seeing that Yemo broke away his white ray with one slash. Before he could do anything, Yemo hacked with Zissou again, Illusion Cloud Division Strike. "How dare you!" he roared. He didn't expect Yemo to be completely fine under the attack and instead used the opportunity to counterattack. He used Fire Rune Mirror again, but this time, the white ray was more than twice as strong as before. Everyone could tell Shandi wasn't using his full power before. But even so, Yemo, a mere cauldron filling state level 7, could survive unscathed. This was quite substantial. Yemo sneered. He knew he would have to retreat in the wake of this white ray if he was cauldron filling state middle stage, but now Yemo didn't need to do that at all. Before Illusion Cloud Division Strike finished, he used Illusion Cloud Exert Will Strike as well as Illusion Cloud Formation Kill Strike. The white ray grew more luminous and the temperature rose higher too, but Yemo's purple sword rays also multiplied rapidly. The endless purple sword rays formed a trap formation, blocking the white rays and shrinking. Shandi's eye spasmed. He finally realized that Yemo really had the power to talk back to him. Since when was there such an absurd cauldron-filling state cultivator? He had never even heard of this before. He was attacking with full power, but he didn't even have the slightest upper hand. Seeing the endless purple sword rays trap the fire rune mirror, the cultivators around were also astonished. Even the cauldron-filling state level 9 and Zhou Yushuang's master were shook. They didn't expect Yemo was this powerful. If they had to deal with Shandi's attack, they would have long been dead. Only Shandi knew what was going on. It wasn't that Yemo's cultivation essence or spirit sense was stronger than his, but that Yemo's domain was more complete than his. The main thing was, Shandi was shocked to find that Yemo knew the exact weaknesses of his domain and mirror. Each time Yemo attacked, it was based on the weakness. This couldn't continue. If it did, although he wouldn't lose, he would lose face if he had the lower hand. Thinking about this, Shandi was about to use his 7-star sword, but he suddenly found that his spirit sense paused. He cursed, and then the white ray dispersed. He just realized that Yemo had a spirit sense cultivation method too. He just cast away Yemo's spirit sense attack when he saw the purple sword rays swarm up again. A basic trap formation was formed and more purple sword rays sprayed out of the kitchen knife, repairing the trap formation. Not good, Yemo wanted to trap him. Shandi realized this and howled. 7 dark blue swords flew out and formed a 7-star killing force. Yemo sneered. He knew Shandi had other means. It wasn't that simple for him to kill a disaster transformation state tertiary stage. So, Yemo used his lightning sword at the same time. Rumble, 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 more than 10 lightning swords rained down. They were all infant arm-sized and some were even thicker. Seeing this, some of the cultivators who had seen Yemo's lightning sword before realized that Yemo didn't even use a tenth of his power when he killed the black and white half-pill king. The cauldron-filling state level 9 shivered. He realized now how dumb he was. With Yemo's means, it was all too easy for Yemo to kill him, and yet he stupidly thought he had him. The only thing he didn't understand was why did Yemo only want 1 orb when there were 7 here. Zhou Yushuang's master was also very shocked. He looked dazedly at Yemo's endless means and realized that if he didn't agree to Yemo taking the 7th orb, he might be dead now. Just what sort of maniac was he? He carefully wiped the sweat from his forehead and made up his mind even if he met cultivators weaker than him, he wouldn't treat them with the same mentality as before. If he met an absurd cauldron-filling state cultivator like Emo again, it would be too scary. Zhou Yuxuan was completely dazed now. She didn't dare to believe her eyes. She had long heard of Shandi's power, and yet a young cultivator like Emo could fight with him, and not be losing out at all. This was way beyond her comprehension. Xiaoyi also looked at Emo in shock, not expecting this at all. Shandi was sweating cold. He didn't expect Emo was a lightning cultivator too. His lightning magic was also so absurd. He had to defend against those lightning swords with all his power. The 7-star swords he was going to kill Emo with took a defensive stance instead, and he took out another shield too. Yemo's lightning sword was pretty much the same as Divine Damnation. It was powerful and could bind cultivation essence. Shandi knew that if he was just a little careless, he might be killed here. Since when was there such an absurd cultivator? He had the complete upper hand fighting a disaster transformation state level 9 as a cauldron filling state level 7. Shandi cursed. If he knew Emo was this absurd, he would never have looked for trouble with Emo. Emo knew that although Shandi was having trouble defending, it was hard to kill him. He couldn't rain down this level of lightning sword non-stop. If his cultivation essence and spirit sense ran low, it would be time for Shandi's retaliation. But Emo wasn't afraid. He still didn't use his octagonal cauldron or shadowless, not even purple eye soul sever. Emo knew he wouldn't be able to trap Shandi for long, and now he took back Zisu. Just when everyone didn't know why Emo took back his main attack magic artifact, Emo hacked out with Zisu again. A long purple ray sprouted from Zisu and sliced through the air. The beauty made everyone unable to breathe. Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain Strike. The cultivators only noticed its beauty, but when the suffocating pressure came, they shivered. This wasn't a beautiful morning ray, this was a bloodthirsty sword ray. Yi looked up at the purple ray with mesmerization. He felt this ray was so pretty. Tang Meirao shook her head. It was already set that Emo was going to kill Yi. No one can stop him. Shandi just had things a little easier when saw the vibrant purple ray hack towards Yi. He was furious to the extreme, but he didn't have the time to say anything. If he hesitated at all, Yi would die. Shandi just had things a little easier when saw the vibrant purple ray hack towards Yi. He was furious to the extreme, but he didn't have the time to say anything. If he hesitated at all, Yi would die. Shandi immediately burned his essence blood and took out a low-grade cultivation artifact shield, instantly blocking Yi. Yi just woke up now. The purple ray was going to kill him. He sweated cold and also took out a low-grade cultivation artifact. The purple ray's momentum reached the max. That pitiful feeling of no regret could be felt by all. He couldn't help taking a few more steps back and was shocked at Yemo's power. It was a strike that was relentless until it did what it wanted. However, this strike also had a flaw, and that was it was hard to take it back. If the strike didn't hurt the enemy, it might hurt oneself. Emo knew this, yet he was still adamant on killing Yi. Crack to crack sounded. The low-grade cultivation artifact Shandi used cracked like a biscuit. Cultivation essence splashed everywhere, and the air itself was exploding. At the same time, the purple ray dimmed down. However, Emo grunted and burned a mouthful of essence blood. His cultivation essence and spirit sense rose drastically and were inserted into Zisu. That dimmed purple ray lit up once again. Crack, another crack sounded. This shield didn't stop the purple ray for even half a second and was hacked open. The purple ray now was more vibrant than before, so bright that people couldn't even open their eyes, but the people around didn't want to close their eyes. That vibrance was too beautiful. Splurge a rose seemed to have blossomed amidst the purple ray, making this scene beautiful to the extreme. But soon the rose withered. Moments later, the purple ray completely disappeared. It came and left fast. He laid on the ground lifelessly. A bloody mark stretched across his forehead. The hall was in complete silence. There was no sound, no movement. The place was dead silent. Everyone realized what the red blossom and the purple ray was. Shandi was stunned. The lightning sword and purple sword ray formation attacking him was gone. Shandi looked at Emo in disbelief. You killed the heir, you dare to kill the heir! He spat blood out and suddenly roared. I'm going to kill you! Emo glared coldly at Shandi and sneered. Quit bluffing, you said you were going to kill me before and I'm still standing here fine. Stop barking, if you want to fight then fight. Emo waved his hand and the octagonal cauldron floated above his head. The cultivators here just realized that Emo didn't even use his defense magic artifact before. Yet it was this cauldron-filling state who killed the disaster transformation state level 9 cultivator's disciple while fighting him. No one would believe this if they didn't see with their own eyes, it was too absurd. Shandi wiped the blood from his mouth. He calmed down instead. Bleak killing intent flashed across his eyes, he stared at Emo. Very well, you have the power to act up with me. You didn't even release your defense magic artifact up until now. I underestimated you. If I don't kill you for revenge, I swear I'm not a human. Let me see what sort of a prodigy North Far State has birthed. With this, the mirror above his head buzzed and the 7 short swords emitted shocking killing intent. Master! Tang Mengrao's disciple watched Emo with extreme shock. She didn't expect a young cultivator like Emo to be able to suppress Shandi. Martial brother Shan, I don't think this is the place to fight. Place, Martial nephew Yi killed Emo's friendly Chishan in Peihai City. Tang Mengrao persuaded. Ha! Shandi laughed. He pointed at Emo. A mere cauldron-filling state insect killed my disciple. If I don't get revenge for Yer, I don't need to come out anymore. What thing is Li Chishan? How can he compare with my disciple? Emo sneered. I just killed the trash. Why do you need to act like your dad died? Oh, is that your illegitimate child? Shandi didn't say anything and his 7 swords spun rapidly. Then, the sword circle gradually expanded. Sword domain? Tang Mengrao saw this and asked in shock. She didn't expect Shandi to have this after not seeing him for a few years. Sword domain was much harder to form than cultivation essence domain. One sword down needs to reach a certain level for this. Usually, it was used with 1 sword, but Shandi used 7. It could only mean his progress was too huge. Emo saw this and didn't mind at all. He didn't even use Zisu and just took out a clean white cloth instead. No one knew why Emo did this. His opponent even used sword domain, but he didn't seem worried at all. Tang Mengrao admired Emo's courage. Shandi didn't know why Emo did this either, but Emo raised the cloth and said, If you want to fight, I'll fight with you, but you need to wait. Then, Emo took the cloth and wiped his kitchen knife. Then, he burned the white cloth before raising Zisu and looking at it. I killed the trash just then, it dirted my sword. It took me quite a while to clean it. Okay, now we can fight. Everyone was at a loss for words. They just realized Emo still wanted to insult Shandi first. Everyone saw the knife didn't even touch Yi at all. It was the sword ray that killed Yi. Shan-Chi's face was green. He knew that in a mocking competition, he would never beat Emo, so he just didn't talk. His cultivation essence burst into the mirror and 7 star swords. The rest of the cultivators all retreated, seeing the two about to fight again. At this moment, a wave of rumbling sounded. The earth below them started to vibrate as though this place was about to collapse. Earth shatter? All the cultivators thought of these 2 words. If the earth shattered, then it meant they might get devoured by the earth. Even cauldron-filling state cultivators might lose their life if they were trapped deep down the earth. Ordinary deep earth shatter didn't just bury a cultivator down below, but it also had space fissures and space typhoons. There was nothing you could do but await death if you were swooped into a space fissure. Plus, if you were buried a few thousand kilometers below the earth, it was very hard to get back out. You might die there. So when this sounded, even Shandi, who was desperate to kill Emo, put away his magic artifact. He needed to get the things inside the 6 orbs before he ran out of here. Two hollow spirit state cultivators knew it was hopeless to stay here, so they charged towards the door. As soon as they did, space wind blades that were tens of times stronger than before tore them apart. Even Tang Mangrao and Shan Di had a serious face. The third hollow spirit state at the door immediately wanted to retreat, but the foot he reached out with disappeared for no reason. Space fissure. One could possibly dodge space wind blades. But if it was space fissure, then it was certain death unless you were strong enough to rip apart space. However, such masters did not belong in the cultivation realm. In the entire Luoyu continent, there was just one Chu Jiuyu. The earth was still shaking, but no one dared to go out now. Yemo pulled Su Jingwen next to him and watched the surroundings. He had been to Truth Fall Palace Forbidden Grounds, so he knew how to dodge the space fissures. The earth was still shaking, but no one dared to go out now. Yemo pulled Su Jingwen next to him and watched the surroundings. He had been to Truth Fall Palace Forbidden Grounds, so he knew how to dodge the space fissures. He put away the octagonal cauldron as it was of no use against space fissures. If Shan Di didn't want to die, then he wouldn't fight him now. Shan Di indeed didn't want to fight Yemo now. Yi was dead, there was no point in fighting now. Yemo had a base and family, he wasn't scared of Yemo running away. Shan Di saw the 6 golden orbs and said to Tang Mangrao, "Martial Sister Mangrao, there are still 6 orbs here, let's take 3 each." Tang Mangrao smiled bitterly and looked at Yemo. "Sect Leader Yi, what is your opinion?" Shan Di felt extremely uncomfortable hearing this, but he didn't say anything. He knew Yemo had the ability to take some too. If he didn't agree, then it would cause a battle. Shan Di wasn't confident in beating Yemo at all. A mere cauldron-filling state cultivator could reach domain initial completion and completely control the rhythm of the battle with him. This cultivator was too scary. Even though he wasn't scared of Yemo now, he knew that if Yemo reached disaster transformation state, he would be no match for Yemo, even if Yemo was just disaster transformation state level 1. Even Tang Mangrao thought Yemo would ask for 2 of the orbs, but Yemo said calmly, "I said I only want 1 orb. Since I have it, I don't want anything else." "You don't want it?" Tang Mangrao looked at Yemo in shock. She still didn't really believe it. Shan Di sneered. "Martial Sister Mangrao, I'm going for it first." Then, Shan Di grabbed towards the 3rd ball. Clearly he wanted the truth carrot pill. With a thud, Shan Di's hand clashed with the golden orb. The orb shattered a little, but it soon closed back up. However, unlike the cauldron-filling state level 9, Shan Di wasn't pushed back. The next moment, he released 7 star swords and pierced at the golden orb. With another deep thud, a fist-sized opening appeared, and before it could repair, Shan Di grabbed at the truth carrot pill. But then, his face changed immediately. The bottle of truth carrot pill he got dispersed into cultivation essence. Soon, nothing was left. Seeing this, everyone realized what was going on. The things in the 6th orb were fake. Shan Di dazed, and there was great disappointment in his eyes. He then opened the rest of the few golden orbs, but they were all fake. Nothing was real. Yemo looked at this and laughed. It would be strange if there were good things in there. He wasn't that generous, giving all these good things away for free. Now, all the cultivators looked at Yemo. They all realized why Yemo said he didn't want anything else. He already knew that these things were all fake. The only real thing was probably what was in the 7th orb. People realized why Yemo touched all of the orbs. It was to confirm which one was real. Zhou Yushuang's master and the cauldron-filling state level 9 had bitter faces. They finally realized why such a powerful cultivator didn't fight over the rest of the orbs with them. He just casually touched them and knew if it was real or fake, but they wasted so much effort trying to break them but still didn't know anything. Shan Di looked at Yemo with a green face and asked coldly, "The only thing in the real orb was taken by you?" Yemo said calmly, "Yes, do I have to wait for you to come each time I want to take something? Do I need your permission? When I was crossing the Heartless Sea, I also saw an immortal mine. Should I show you everything I got there, or should I just give it to you?" Shandi's face was very bad. He just realized Yemo was someone who could cross the Heartless Sea. The cultivators here all knew of the Heartless Sea, and when they heard Yemo cross the Heartless Sea, they took a breath in. Crossing the Heartless Sea, that was something Truth Realization State did. Truth Realization State Tertiary Stage. Yet this young guy dared to do that. Just what sort of guy was he? This hall could be devoured by the ground any time, so Shandi ignored Yemo and looked at Tang Mengrao. Martial Sister Mengrao, there are 3 immortal crystals. You're also facing a barrier at Truth Realization State, I think. Tang Mengrao walked to a hollow spirit state and asked some questions. She realized what was going on. Yemo took the 7th orb and there were 3 immortal crystals inside. Anyone would wanted the immortal crystals, much less Tang Mengrao, who was stuck in disaster transformation state. But that depended on who took the immortal crystals. Tang Mengrao felt a deep threat from Yemo, plus Yemo had saved her life. She didn't want to and wasn't able to take the immortal crystals from Yemo. So before Shandi finished, she smiled. Sect leader, you saved my life. My disciple Qiandai did wrong things to his MOU too, so I don't mind sect leader Yi taking the immortal crystals. Shandi felt very uncomfortable. He didn't expect that with their many years of relationship and fighting together, she helped Yemo, this stupid youth. Although Shandi really wanted to fight with Yemo, he knew he wouldn't be able to win and he didn't want to lose his life here. In that case, Shandi wanted to go. He knew there were space fissures, but he should be able to make it out. At this moment, Tang Mengrao suddenly looked at Xiaoyi and asked, "What's your name?" Hearing this, Xiaoyi seemed surprised and said, "Tang Qianbei, I'm Xiaoyi. I came in with Brother Yi." Then, Xiaoyi quickly came up to Yemo. Her eyes seemed to be saying, "If you're going out, please bring me also," but her eyes also seemed afraid of Yemo's rejection. Tang Mengrao looked at Yemo in confusion. She felt this Xiaoyi was familiar but didn't know where she had seen her before. At this moment Yuchan said, "This Sister Xiaoyi really seems like one person, right, Master? I remember." But at this moment, Xiaoyi walked to Yemo as though wanting to say something. Before she even said anything, Yemo released his octagonal cauldron. She was too close to him now. He knew she was cauldron filling state level 8, and he had been wary of her. As soon as she neared, Yemo released his octagonal cauldron, not because he was scared of her, but because he cared about Su Jingwen. Rumble, a huge explosion sounded in the hall. At the same time, everyone released their defense magic artifacts. However, the hollow spirit state cultivators couldn't react in time. The huge explosion almost tipped the hall over. Those hollow spirit state cultivators were blasted away by the chi wave. After a good while, this explosion calmed down. Other than Yemo, Shandi and Tang Mengrao, there were the 2 cauldron-filling states still alive. Zhou Yushuang also survived under her master's protection. After a good while, this explosion calmed down. Other than Yemo, Shandi and Tang Mengrao, there were the 2 cauldron-filling states still alive. Zhou Yushuang also survived under her master's protection. Truth explosion bead! The cauldron-filling state level 9 said in shock. Although he released his magic artifact in time, he was closer than Yemo, so he was lightly injured. Someone who could instantly activate Truth explosion bead couldn't be just hollow spirit state. This meant that female cultivator hid her power. Shandi's face was calm and felt unsatisfied. That female cultivator used Truth explosion bead to ambush Yemo at this range, but still didn't get him. Yemo wasn't simple. Xiaoyi didn't expect Yemo to be wary of her and to release his octagonal cauldron before she activated the Truth explosion bead. Seeing this, Xiaoyi knew she wouldn't be able to get Yemo. But the orb had already activated and she couldn't take it back. "Master, I feel like that Xiaoyi is really like Martial Sister Qiandai." "No, I feel she is Martial Sister Qiandai," Yuchan suddenly said. She then asked worriedly, "Master, why is she using the Truth explosion orb against Yemo?" I know." Yuchan remembered that Yemo killed Ao Qiandia's brother Ao Qiailong. Tang Mengrao's face was also very bad now. The moment Xiaoyi attacked, she could tell Xiaoyi was Ao Qiandai. She nodded. Qiandai used a space transmission rune to get away. Yemo heard their conversation and just realized that it was Ao Qiandai ambushing him. His face went cold. Sect leader Tang is powerful indeed. You trained a cauldron-filling state level 8 disciple. I admire your capabilities. You're saying Qiandai is cauldron-filling state level 8? She didn't see Ao Qiandai's real power in that moment. Yemo sneered. Qiandai? You think if your disciple Ao Qiandai is really only around 30 she can reach cauldron-filling state level 8? You think there are such prodigies in the world? You're saying. Tang Mengrao was shook. She knew Yemo meant that Ao Qiandai was possessed. Yemo sneered but didn't say anything. However, Yuchan said, My master said your cauldron-filling state level 7. How did you reach that? Yemo said calmly. Do you think there will be another prodigy like me? Plus, I'm much older than that Ao Qiandai. Yuchan was dazed. She didn't expect Yemo to just call himself the number 1 prodigy. How was she so shameless? You saw her real power long before, that's why you used octagonal cauldron before she used her orb, right? Tang Mengrao asked after a long while. If Qiandai was really possessed, then she must have been blind for not realizing. Just when she wanted to activate it, she realized her rune was level 9. It should be fine taking 4 people. Plus, this was an emergency. Thinking about this, Tang Mengrao quickly said, Yemo, hurry up and hug me, we can leave together. Yemo was just thinking of robbing that cauldron-filling state level 9 storage ring to see if there were any space transmission runes. But hearing this, he came over to Tang Mengrao with Su Jingwen without hesitation. He put his arm around Tang Mengrao's waist. Tang Mengrao looked very young, but she wasn't young. She had always been cultivating and thus never touched male cultivators before. She had never experienced love. Now that Yemo held her, her body went a little soft. That masculine she made her tremble, and she forgot to activate the transmission rune. Yemo had been with Su Jingwen and Song Yangzhu these few days and was familiar with Tang Mengrao's reaction. He really didn't expect her to be like this, she was too sensitive. Just when Yemo was about to remind her, Yuchan called out desperately. Master, hurry up. However, Yemo let go of Tang Mengrao's waist and shook his head. No need, it's a waste. Then Yemo heard 3 thuds. Shan Di, the cauldron-filling state level 9, and Zhou Yushuang with her master landed. Clearly, the transmission rune was of no use here. This meant that space itself here had changed after Ao Qiandai left. Tang Mengrao just woke up, her face was red like an apple. She really didn't expect her body to react like this, making her lose her mind for a moment. Yemo, how dare you! Shan Di reproached. The space transmission rune didn't work and everyone was thinking of a way to leave. So was Yemo. The space transmission rune didn't work and everyone was thinking of a way to leave. So was Yemo. But at this time, Shan Di suddenly said this. Everyone else was dazed and so was Yemo. Su Jingwen smiled and whispered to Yemo. That man is angry because you felt sect leader Tang's waist. Yemo looked back at Su Jingwen helplessly. Jingwen, I didn't feel her up. Su Jingwen laughed but didn't answer. She was much more sensitive than Yemo and had noticed what was going on. Shan Di had been targeting Yemo and this made Su Jingwen very annoyed. But her power was too low so she intentionally said Yemo felt Tang Mengrao's waist to annoy Shan Di. Despite her whispering, everyone heard it. Shan Di was just going to reproach Yemo, but now that Su Jingwen said this, he took out his fire rune mirror, clearly about to have a fight with Yemo. Yemo knew what Su Jingwen meant and shook his head casually, taking out Zisu. Martial brother Shan, what are you doing? What time is it? The space transmission rune is useless, and yet you still want to fight here. Tang Mengrao knew Shan Di was going to fight because of her. Shan Di stared at Yemo. Martial sister Mengrao, this person is too rude. How dare he assault you? He thinks he has some power. I'm going to see what he's got today. Tang Mingrao's face sunk. Martial brother Shan, if you want to fight with Emo, don't bring me into it. I let Emo hold me before, it has nothing to do with being rude. I don't like people using me as an excuse. Then Tang Mingrao pulled Yu-chan and said, let's go to the side. Hearing this, Shandi's face went green. Tang Mingrao even changed to calling him Emo instead of sect leader Yi. He didn't talk anymore and released his white mirror. Emo was also pissed. If it wasn't that Su Jinwen was here, he would fight with this Shandi no matter what. But now, he could only put Su Jinwen to the side and then smash over with lightning swords. The rest of the cultivators saw Emo and Shandi fight again and didn't dare to go near them at all. Yemo's lightning swords as well as Zisu's sword ray clashed with Shandi's 7-star swords. The white rays never fully formed once. Each time they were about to form, they were hacked open by Zisu's sword rays. Lightning flashed in the hall and everyone looked at it in shock. Too powerful, a cauldron-filling state level 7 cultivator fought with a disaster transformation state level 9 and this cauldron-filling state level 7 was attacking 70% of the time. Shandi seemingly was having it tough, he was covered in dirt. However, Emo knew that though he appeared to have the upper hand in the fight, his lightning sword couldn't do much to Shandi. The more the fight progressed, the more it wouldn't benefit him. The lightning sword used up too much cultivation essence and spirit sense. Just when Emo wanted to give Shandi a tough attack and use spirit sense sword and shadowless, Zisu and the 7-star swords clashed together head-on. There was another huge explosion, and one side of the wall collapsed. Everything thought that this hall was surrounded by the mountain bodies, but when the wall collapsed, everyone realized that there was a huge space behind the hall. There was a dim light inside this space. Just when everyone else was hesitating, Emo suddenly put away the octagonal cauldron and jumped to Su Jinwen, bringing her inside the space. Everyone noticed this and all copied Emo. As soon as they left, a piece of the hall disappeared and then without any premonition, another piece disappeared. Even an idiot realized that the hall didn't disappear due to Space Fisher but Space Devour. Everyone looked at Emo with admiration. If Emo didn't see it earlier and charge into here, no one would be able to stop that Space Devour. Shandi completely lost the intention to fight with Emo. This Space Devourer was too terrifying, and he felt greatly threatened by Emo now. He realized that he might really be no match for Emo. Tang Mingrao walked up to Emo and asked, Emo, how did you know there was danger in that hall? Emo didn't talk. He felt eerie too. He felt there was danger in the hall not because he was powerful but he had experienced that devour before. In the Herb Valley, there was a terrifying space-devouring thing in the mist. Emo never expected to encounter it again here. Emo wasn't a timid person but this was something that he completely couldn't defend against. No one spoke, not knowing how dangerous it was here. A few people regretted that only Emo got 3 immortal crystals here. The rest of the people didn't get anything. After a long while, Emo said to Tang Mingrao, Sect Leader Tang, we can't stay here for long, we need to leave quickly. Tang Mingrao nodded. I know, but where can we go? This place is a gray mist. If we go further inside, we knows what we'll encounter? Just when Emo wanted to talk, another large piece of the hall disappeared. Clearly, it was being devoured by something that was moving towards here. Emo didn't talk and just took Su Jinwen to fly inside more. A while later, the Space Devourer would be at their place. Seeing this, the rest of the people all didn't talk and followed Emo. Everyone saw Emo dodge the Truth Explosion Orb and the Space Devourer, so they felt that Emo had the natural ability to avoid danger. So they all followed Emo inside. If Emo was just by himself, he could just hide in the Golden Page world, but now Su Jinwen was with him so he couldn't just flee. He could only bring people in his Golden Page world once he was Truth Realization state. The more they went inside, the narrower it became. Moments later, Emo saw there was no more road ahead. A tall sacrifice stage appeared. Next to it was a small temple. Emo saw this and immediately knew it was a seal. He was a level 9 formation Grand Master. Seeing this seal, Yemo thought of the spirit body immediately. This seal must be for that spirit body, but then he realized he was wrong. This seal was shaky, but it wasn't broken, although it seemed to be about to break at any time. Yemo looked behind and suddenly thought, did the space here disappear due to the weakening of the seal? The rumbling sound didn't stop. Yemo took out a few formation flags and put them into the surroundings of the seal. Regardless, he had to try reseal this place. The rest of the people saw this and didn't do anything. Soon, Yemo found that after he put the formation flags down, the seal seemed to be shaking more. Yemo looked at the spirit gathering formation around here. The spirit chi seemed arid, so he took out 100 extreme grade spirit stones and set up a spirit gathering formation quickly. Everyone saw this and was shocked. Yemo was too wealthy, taking out 100 extreme grade spirit stones so easily. Yemo found that after he set up the spirit gathering formation, the seal indeed was suppressed a lot more. He rejoiced and threw out all sorts of formation flags, suppressing the seal. Yemo found that after he set up the spirit gathering formation, the seal indeed was suppressed a lot more. He rejoiced and threw out all sorts of formation flags, suppressing the seal. 15 minutes later, Yemo and everyone else found that the rumbling sound grew quieter until it was almost unable to be heard. That seal seemed still a little wobbly. Yemo looked at the ring on the stage and hardened his heart, putting an immortal crystal on it. After that, the seal immediately quietened down. The formation around the stage seemed to be exerting great power. All the spirit chi rushed over to empower the formation. Yemo, is that stage a seal? Tang Mengrao asked. Yemo nodded. This is indeed a seal, a level 10 seal too. Although I can't set up a level 10 formation, I can repair it a little. Yemo scanned everyone and said, this formation still needs a lot of top-grade materials. This seal is what seals the monster that can devour space. I believe everyone knows that if the seal is opened, it won't just be the disaster of North Far State. We are here, so I want everyone to take out their top-grade materials. I will forge new formation flags to reseal this place. I've already taken out 100 extreme-grade spirit stones and an immortal crystal. If you're still not willing to take out things, don't blame me for just leaving here. Tang Mengrao knew Yemo was a level 9 formation grandmaster, but everyone else was extremely wary. Yemo was so young, yet he was a level 9 formation grandmaster. However, no one dared to ignore a spirit that could devour space itself. Plus, Yemo already took out extreme-grade spirit stones and an immortal crystal, so everyone took out their best materials. Even Shan Di didn't dare to go against Yemo now. Yemo even collected 100 extreme-grade spirit stones again. Shan Di and Tang Mengrao had the most top-grade materials. Despite North Far State being a poor place, the sect leaders of 8-star sects still had quite a lot. Seeing Yemo familiarly make formation flags, Shan Di felt his mouth spasm. This guy was too absurd. As the formation flags rained down, Yemo took out another 100 extreme-grade spirit stones, and the extreme-grade spirit stones other people contributed and put them on. Yemo's formation mainly repaired the spirit-gathering formation and perfected the original seal. It wasn't as stable as before, but this seal would be able to last another 100 or so years. Shan Di really wanted Yemo to take out the remaining 2 immortal crystals, but he knew he would be scorned, so he held his words. When Yemo closed the formation flags, everyone felt the ground wobble, and then moments later, it disappeared. The rumbling sounds also disappeared. I left the 3 immortal crystals. I believe that should be enough for other people to seal the formation. Yemo speechlessly gave the jade slip to Tang Mengrao, who was waiting on the side. According to Shui Yufeng, the 7 orbs were for the next seal keeper. But the next person didn't come, so Shui Yufeng took all those good things in the 7 orbs. He was really stingy and only left behind 3 immortal crystals. Now, he had to use one to seal the formation. After everyone read this, people realized there was no way out. Even if someone wanted to come in, he would need the 9-4 key. Zhou Yushuang hesitated and asked, Brother Yi, did you follow behind me when I came in? Yemo nodded. That's right, I was behind. Yemo, it seems we can only come in but not go out, Tang Mengrao said worriedly. But luckily you know formations, otherwise who knows what this terrifying monster is. Yemo nodded and walked up to the wall, ripping off the painting. Yemo knew this painting wasn't ordinary. Otherwise, it wouldn't be blocking spirit sense. He put it away without hesitation. Shandi saw this but didn't say anything. Yemo knew this painting wasn't ordinary. Otherwise, it wouldn't be blocking spirit sense. He put it away without hesitation. Shandi saw this but didn't say anything. Everyone looked at the stone wall. There was nothing there but a sink. Yemo saw it. It was another 9-4 key sink. Tang Mengrao looked at Yemo and asked, "Is this the sink that the 9-4 key can be placed in, as the jade slip said?" Yemo nodded. "Yes, this place might be for the seal keeper to go out. This small temple is probably a formation, a teleportation formation." Everyone looked at Yemo as only he had the 9-4 key. Seeing everyone look at him, Yemo immediately said, "I have the 9-4 key, but there's no point in looking at me. Just look at the 4 corners of this temple. There are 4 sinks, meaning the temple needs to be powered. Then just use spirit stones," Yuchan said without thinking. Yemo didn't speak. Seeing this, Tang Mengrao asked uncertainly, "Yemo, do you mean that these sinks need immortal crystals instead of spirit stones?" Yemo nodded. "Look at the sink for the crystal. It's hexagonal. Even extreme-grade spirit stones only have 4 corners. Only immortal crystals have 6 corners. I'm sure that this place had immortal crystals, but they were taken by the guy guarding this place." Seeing everyone want to talk, Yemo said again, "I only have 2 immortal crystals. It's useless even if I use them. Why don't we try with extreme-grade spirit stones first? If not, we'll think of another way." Tang Mengrao asked. Yemo said heavily, "We can try, but if there's not enough power, space may be contorted and lives may be lost." Tang Mengrao thought for a long while and said, "There's clearly no other way out. We'll probably try eventually, so we might as well try now." Tang Mengrao then looked at the others and questioned, "What do you guys think?" Everyone said they were fine with it. Yemo also knew there was no other way but to try now, so he took out 4 extreme-grade spirit stones and put them into the sinks. Then, he took out the 9-key fork, putting it into the slot. The people in here waited a few breaths. They felt this temple was starting to move. Yemo held Su Jingwen close to his side. He didn't want them to be separated again. The temple spun faster and faster. 10 seconds later, everyone in the temple felt lighter, and a faint yellow ray formed. After the ray disappeared, the people in the temple had been teleported away. Yemo felt dizzy and immediately things felt wrong. At the instant of teleportation, most cultivators' spirit sense and conscious were obscured. People wouldn't be able to feel the notion of space until their power reached a certain level. But now, he clearly felt the teleportation process was dizzy. There was only one explanation, and that was the teleportation went wrong. He held Su Jingwen closely but didn't take out his octagonal cauldron. It was too dangerous to take out anything during teleportation. Not only would you lose your thing, but it also might cause dispositions in space and start space chaos flows. Yemo just shut his eyes. This situation wasn't something he could deal with. He could only leave it to fate. He really disliked such a feeling, but he had to face it. After an unknown amount of time, Yemo felt solid land. He immediately rejoiced. No matter if the teleportation formation went wrong, he wasn't afraid as long as they were on land. Yemo kicked away large rocks, creating a huge cave. He wasn't injured, and soon, Yemo flew out from the cave with Su Jingwen. The next moment, Tang Mengrao and them were all teleported here. Just like Yemo, everyone crashed like a crater. Luckily, all cultivators here were cauldron-filling state or above, and the weaker people had someone to protect them. No one was injured. "What is this place?" Yuchan got out of Tang Mengrao's arms and asked in shock. Yemo had already started studying their location. They were in a desert, behind it were endless mountains. The peaks soaring into the clouds such that even spirit sense couldn't see the end of them. There was also a river in front. Behind the river was a forest that spirit sense couldn't see the ends of. Yemo had never heard of this place, but he wasn't worried. Since they were out, with Shan Di and Tang Mingrao's knowledge, surely they would know where this place was. Yemo wasn't worried no matter where in North Far State they were. He could get back to Peihai City on Blue Moon in a short time. Seeing Tang Mingrao didn't speak, Yemo asked, "Sect Leader Tang, where are we?" Tang Mingrao looked around with confusion and scanned her spirit sense out. Then she frowned. "Yemo, I've never been here. I don't know where is this." Then, she looked at Shan Di. "Martial Brother Shan, do you know where this is?" Shan Di looked for a while and shook his head. "I don't know either." Zhou Yushuang's master spoke. "No matter where it is, it must be on Luoyu continent. We just need to go out and ask." Yemo fell silent. The teleportation process went wrong, probably due to insufficient spirit power. But luckily, space distortion didn't happen. "How do you know it went wrong?" Yu-chan asked in shock. Yemo said heavily. "The teleportation formation is probably a set location teleportation, so we should be teleported to another teleportation formation. But this place not only has no teleportation formation, but we also landed irregularly." Shan Di sneered but didn't attack and said to Tang Mingrao, "Martial Sister Mingrao, I'm going first. If I have time, I will come visit Jade Woman Mountain." Then he released a middle-grade flying cultivation artifact and disappeared. The cauldron filling state level 9 and Zhou Yushuang's master also saluted with their fists to Yemo and Tang Mingrao. "Wan Bei will be leaving. Thank you, Brother Yi and Sect Leader Tang, for your magnanimity." Then, the two took out flying cultivation artifacts and left in different directions. Seeing this, Tang Mingrao smiled awkwardly. "Yemo, I'm going too. If you have time, then you can come to Jade Woman Mountain with your wife." "I'm very sorry about Qiandai," Yemo said hesitantly. "Sect Leader Tang, I feel this place is not right, let's leave later." Hearing this, Tang Mingrao seemed to have thought of something and blushed. She quickly said, "It's fine, as long as it's in North Far State I'm not scared of anything." Hearing this, Yemo didn't say anything and saluted with his fists. Yu-chan had a better and better impression of Yemo. She also said to Su Jinwen, "Sister Jinwen, you can visit Jade Woman Mountain with Martial Uncle Yi when you're free, you're the second prettiest girl I've seen." Then, she seemed to have thought of Ao Qiandai and looked sad. Tang Mingrao sighed and nodded to Yemo before disappearing on a low-grade flying cultivation artifact. "Yemo, what do we do? Why don't we go with them?" Su Jinwen asked. Yemo looked at the river and forest. "Jinwen, I feel this place is very eerie. Here is better, but as for the forest and the mountains, I don't feel they're a part of North Far State." Yemo felt a sliver of danger here. Su Jinwen frowned and nodded. "Yeah, I have this feeling too. The spirit chi here seems much greater than North Far State." Yemo nodded. "You're right, I've been to South Peace State. The spirit chi here is no less than the average place in South Peace State. It's even denser than some small sect's spirit chi. If this place was in North Far State, how could there not be a sect here?" Su Jinwen just wanted to agree when they heard a terrifying howl of pain. The cauldron filling state level 9 dragged an arm, charging over from the mountains. Before he landed, a gray figure chased behind him, spewing out a gray mist. The cauldron filling state level 9 cultivator was immediately taken away. Then, the gray figure darted back into the mountains. The cauldron filling state level 9 dragged an arm, charging over from the mountains. Before he landed, a gray figure chased behind him, spewing out a gray mist. The cauldron filling state level 9 cultivator was immediately taken away. Then, the gray figure darted back into the mountains. Seeing this, Yemo took a cold breath in. Even he wouldn't be so clean killing that cauldron filling state level 9. Su Jinwen shivered and tightly held Yemo's arm. Those mountains were too terrifying. she asked quietly. Yemo, what was that? A cauldron-filling state level 9 cultivator was just swept away. Yemo's face grew serious. Jinwen, we need to find a place to hide. This place is too dangerous. That was a level 10 beast. I suspect that spirit beast found us, but for some reason he didn't come over. What about sect leader Tang and Yuchan? Su Jinwen subconsciously asked. We can't even protect ourselves now, much less them. That cauldron-filling state level 9 just went into the mountains and a level 10 spirit beast came chasing him. The spirit beast wasn't morphed into human form yet, so they're very ferocious. Even a truth realization state primary stage cultivator wouldn't be able to do anything to a level 10 peak spirit beast. Yemo said. Su Jinwen asked. Then where do we hide? Yemo patted her shoulder. Don't worry, we still have a half-immortal artifact. If worst comes to worst, we can escape with that. Then let's go now, Su Jinwen said. Yemo shook his head. Whether it's the forest behind the river or the mountains, my spirit sense can't scan to the ends. If we're surrounded by spirit beasts, then no matter how fast Blue Moon is, we're dead for sure. But what can we do if we hide? Su Jinwen asked worriedly. Yemo smiled. Don't worry, I have 2 immortal crystals. We can hide and cultivate. I believe these 2 crystals will be enough for me to reach disaster transformation state. How long would that take? Su Jinwen asked immediately. Even if Yemo had immortal crystals, that would take time. If they cultivated here for too long, those spirit beasts would notice. Yemo didn't have time to explain the time formation disk to her, so he said, I have a way, I'll tell you later. Then Yemo took Su Jinwen to leave. They only flew out 100 kilometers and stopped. Then he used stealth magic to hide Su Jinwen and him. Soon, he saw a level 10 blue wind wolf stand around where they were for a while before leaving. Su Jinwen didn't dare to release her spirit sense, but Yemo was shook. This blue wind wolf was level 10 and still hadn't morphed into human form. It wasn't even the same spirit beast that took the cauldron-filling state level 9. Meaning there were many more level 10 spirit beasts than he had thought. Tang Mengrao and her disciple were in danger. Zhou Yushuang and her master were probably dead. The desert was so small and Yemo knew he had no way to escape. Yemo didn't dare to go into the river as either who knew what was in there? Yemo took Su Jinwen and used an earth mobility magic, disappearing from where they were. For ordinary people, even if you went 100 kilometers below the earth, people could scan there with spirit sense. But Yemo didn't face that problem as he was a formation grandmaster. He took Su Jinwen down nearly tens of thousands of meters before stopping. He opened up a space like a room and set up a few stealth formations there. Then, he set up a level 9 defense formation inside before taking out the spirit marrow pond and saying, You can cultivate in here. You're going to go into that golden page world? Su Jinwen asked. Yemo took out a jade card and said, My golden page world will be in the spirit marrow pond. If you're in trouble, just crush the jade card and I'll come out. I can see your cultivation from inside too, so don't worry. After Yemo went in the golden page world, Su Jinwen began cultivating with the pills Yemo left with her. She knew that even if she reached hollow spirit state, she wouldn't be of much help to Yemo, but the higher her power was, the more help she was. If she didn't cultivate, how was she going to wait such a long time? Yemo came onto the extreme grade spirit range. He put it with the Herb King spirit range now, next to the bitter bamboo. In order to hurry up and increase his power, he couldn't care about wastage. He set up a spirit gathering formation on the extreme grade spirit range. Then, Yemo took out the immortal crystals. Although they were best left for breaking through to truth realization state, but even if it was a god crystal, Yemo would use it now. He had to hurry up and cultivate. When he was strong enough, he would take Su Jinwen to leave this place. Yemo split one immortal crystal into 7 pieces and put them into the 7 sinks. Yemo immediately noticed that the formation disk spun much faster than before. This time, he didn't even use the spirit range to cultivate. He just held the other immortal crystal and started absorbing the chi. Instantly, Emo felt all his meridians expand out. That indescribable feeling of satisfaction made him feel cultivation was so good. This was immortal spirit chi. Emo felt deeply the loss of the immortal crystal he used for the seal. Breaking through was no trouble for the immortal crystal at all. It was like walking on a huge road. He easily came to cauldron filling state level 8. Emo even wanted to take off the immortal crystals from the time formation disk and use it for cultivation, but thinking about how much the time formation disk wasted extreme grade spirit range, Emo resisted that urge. Immortal crystals cultivation were good, but using immortal crystals to power the time formation disk was better. There was no waste of spirit chi. 5 months later, Emo was cauldron filling state level 9. Emo quickly stopped cultivation and stopped the time formation disk too. He found that only a quarter of the immortal crystal was gone. Emo rejoiced. This meant that he could use the time formation disk for about a year. The immortal crystal was too powerful. Less than half of the immortal crystal used for cultivation was gone, and he reached from cauldron filling state level 7 to cauldron filling state level 9 peak. The time was also greatly shortened. If he didn't use immortal crystals, he would need at least 2 years, and that was with the extreme grade spirit range. But Emo still devoured most of the spirit chi from the extreme grade spirit range. Immortal crystals just made it more convenient for him to break through. Emo saw through the surveillance formation that Su Jingwen was still cultivating and didn't disturb her. He took out sha fruit and a few spirit herbs and started concocting the disaster life pill. He was preparing for disaster transformation state. The pill was a level 8 spirit pill, but Emo was a level 8 pill king, so it was very easy for him. Emo's heaven flame had reached blue color already, and after 15 minutes, he had concocted the pills. There were 5 special grade and 1 top grade pill. He put 1 pill on his hand and the rest back in the jade bottle. He then left the golden page world. He had to have his divine damnation outside as the golden page world didn't allow for it yet. You're out this quick? Su Jingwen asked Emo in confusion. How long have I been cultivating? Emo asked. He estimated that the time ratio would be greater than using the spirit range to power the time formation disk. How long have I been cultivating? Emo asked. He estimated that the time ratio would be greater than using the spirit range to power the time formation disk. It's only been 10 days, what's your power level now? Su Jingwen asked in confusion. It was indeed a little faster but very limited. He was 1 month faster. Emo explained simply to her. I have a time formation disk in my small world. I cultivated for a year inside, but it's only been a month outside. I'm cauldron filling state peak stage now and about to have my divine damnation. Su Jingwen looked at Emo in shock and asked in surprise and joy. Then does that mean we can use the time formation disk for cultivation? I was wondering how you were cultivating so fast, so it's a 1 to 12 time ratio. I also want to use the time formation disk to cultivate. Emo looked at her awkwardly. It needs immortal crystals or an extreme grade spirit range. Su Jingwen nodded. I understand, even with the time formation disk, we won't be able to cultivate unless we have immortal crystals or an extreme grade spirit range. Su Jingwen didn't think much and stood up, kissing Emo before saying, Go have your divine damnation and take me out too, I will watch on the side. Hearing this, Emo said seriously, Definitely not, I'm going to have my divine damnation in the mountains. If you go, I won't be able to protect you and it may affect my divine damnation. But there are so many high-level spirit beasts there. If you go alone, how can I feel safe? Su Jingwen asked worriedly. Emo smiled. You should just wait for me here. After I'm done, I will need to come back to cultivate. Disaster transformation state level 1 is much stronger than before, but it's not 100% safe here. Su Jingwen heard this and said, Okay then, hurry up and reach truth realization state and show me inside your small world. I want to see if you're hiding pretty women there. Emo knew Su Jingwen wanted him to relax and have the divine damnation, but the words made him awkward. He really was hiding pretty women in the Golden Page world. There was Luo Yin and Ye Shuang. Luckily she didn't think much and said, "Go have your divine damnation, don't worry about me. I'll stay here, no matter how long you take I will wait for you here." Okay. Yemo added an attack formation outside before dashing out to the mountains. 15 minutes later Yemo was at a peak that was dense in spirit chi. As soon as he appeared, his spirit sense saw multiple level 9 spirit beasts. There were also 2 level 10 spirit beasts here. Yemo's skin crawled. Just what was this place? There were so many powerful spirit beasts here. What he saw next shocked him even more. He saw a large patch of level 6 spirit herbs, a few hundred purple back blue carrots. Not far ahead were 3 level 7 spirit herbs, tiger blood Ji. Yemo took a cold breath in. There were so many spirit herbs here yet no one touched them. As soon as Yemo looked there, a few level 8 spirit beasts saw Yemo and their eyes looked frenzied as they charged over at Yemo. Yemo ignored those spirit herbs and took out formation flags, setting up a spirit gathering formation. He threw down 100 extreme grade spirit stones and a large bunch of spirit crystals before eating the disaster life pill. Then, he started circulating the 3-birth chant. Those few level 8 spirit beasts neared Yemo soon, but before they even came here, Yemo threw out a few lightning swords. With a rumble, the black lightning swords flashed, and all those level 8 spirit beasts died without a chance to ran. Seeing this power, the other spirit beasts all stopped, but soon a few level 9 spirit beasts came, and they didn't have any concerns at all. Yemo threw out a few more lightning swords. The leading level 9 red-back horned wolf flipped a few times before standing up. Its back was black clearly, it was heavily injured. Seeing this, those few level 9 spirit beasts stopped and looked at Yemo with concern. Yemo ignored them and ran the 3-birth chant like crazy. He wanted to attract the divine damnation. The spirit beast knew Yemo's lightning swords were powerful and didn't charge up, but they didn't leave either. The level 9 spirit beast saw Yemo just cultivate, and cruelty beamed out of its eyes. It howled and the sound soon echoed in the mountains. Yemo ignored it, and devoured an immortal crystal to drastically improve his power. 8 minutes later, the sky above his head darkened. Black clouds formed and the sky grew heavy. At this moment, these spirit beasts realized that the human cultivator was going to have divine damnation, and he dared to do it at the Magic Beast Mountain Range. They'd all had divine damnation before after reaching level 8, and knew that people were at their weakest when they had divine damnation. Usually cultivators or spirit beasts would have someone to protect them, but this human cultivator dared to have his divine damnation here. A sharp howl sounded and 2 level 10 spirit beasts arrived. Seeing this, all the other spirit beasts moved aside and the 2 level 10 spirit beasts saw the black clouds and were dazed. But soon, 1 level 10 horned dragon charged at Yemo. Before he even reached Yemo, 48 thick lightning arcs rained down. They were thick and black too. The level 10 spirit beast was dazed. What divine damnation was this? Even the spirit beast transformation divine damnation wasn't 1% as powerful as this. The instant the lightning arcs rained down, the level 10 spirit beast knew things weren't good and wanted to run, but he was already in Yemo's divine damnation. It was considered something to be killed by the divine damnation. A small part of the lightning arcs flew towards the dragon. With this, horror filled the dragon's eyes. Rumble rumble, Yemo didn't even use a defense magic artifact. To him, divine damnation was a huge nutrition supplement. How could he waste it using a defense magic artifact? At the same time, Yemo also shot out tens of lightning swords. This was his old tactic to hit lightning with lightning. This seemed to anger the divine damnation, and thus more lightning arcs would rain down. This was probably the only cultivator ever to have divine damnation like this. Yemo's lightning sword clashed with the divine damnation, making horrifying sounds. Black lightning dispersed everywhere, and those spirit beasts all retreated. A few thick lightning arcs landed on Yemo's body and easily pulverized his low-grade cultivation artifact armor. Blood flew out, but Yemo didn't care. He had a lot of armors. After Yemo digested all these lightning arcs, he felt a feeling of satisfaction. His meridians were smoother and wider after being washed by the black lightning. Yemo saw the dragon. It was like a punctured soccer ball, panting for life on the side. Yemo sneered. Just with your power you dare to stop my divine damnation? Don't embarrass yourself! Yemo walked to the dragon and kicked it, flying a few hundred meters away. The dragon's eyes showed embarrassment. He was a level 10 spirit beast and could talk. How could he not understand Yemo's words? He just really didn't understand how come he almost died to 5 lightning arcs, but this human took more than 40, and was only lightly injured. Since when was there such an absurd human cultivator? Was he challenging the magic beast mountain range by having his divine damnation here? Yemo didn't know what the beast thought, but he really wanted a level 10 beast core. He knew it would fetch a heavenly price if he sold it, but he felt that wasn't a wise move to do here. There were so many high-level spirit beasts here, if he dared to overtly collect beast cores they would all hunt him. He still had Su Jingwen with him. Rumble 36 more lightning arcs rained down, but Yemo just used 18 lightning swords and split them up into 36. The lightning sword couldn't stop the power of the lightning bolts, but it could mitigate part of the power. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.